Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tabletopnotch. This is our campaign concluding talkback, hosted by MC Deirdre, who has returned to give us the scoop on the Discord questions, of which there were plentiful to choose from.
Yes, I'm going to be working hard. And also,
Don't be afraid to ride them.
Don't you dare. And I'm not going to be allowing any dilly-dallying in these questions. So we gotta answer them, okay? We gotta move through some questions.
No stone unturned. In addition to questions that were submitted in the Discord, we will be trying to follow along with some chat questions. So if there was something that you wanted to ask and didn't get a chance to, we'll try and do our best to get them in. Before we get into the meat, should we do our usual
shit?
Usual thing?
Totally. We always post our shows in podcast form on Tuesdays.
That's true.
That's right.
If you are not watching it with us right now on Sundays on Twitch. So anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Rate us there, please, if that is a thing for you to possibly do.
Which it's not on some platforms, which is bonkers.
No ratings.
I know,
ratings. Ratingless world.
So listen to us on 0.5 speed, and it sounds like we're drunk. And oh, you've never done that? It's
No.
Oh, 0.5 speed. Everyone's.
I mean, how fast? Oh, at point.
That's all right. We did put Boofmere on at 2 times speed, and that was delightful.
So what is it? So stinking. No.
Yes. Tuesdays is the podcast. Tuesdays is also the YouTube premiere for patrons only.
Just an upload. It's not fancy.
Right.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Premiere. It's just a video.
Premieres are gone.
That's all right.
YouTube
Premieres are good.
appears on Tuesdays.
There we go.
For those of you that are patrons. If you're not, it goes live on Fridays. We're on countless social medias. If you're on a social media, if you search Tabletop Notch, you're gonna find us. You're gonna find cool and fun clips, funny, stupid stuff, stat sheets, things like that, wrap-ups, of which this is a big one.
This is the
this is the ultimate wrap-up. And other than that, there's a Discord that which, as you know, many of you know, a lot of the questions that we got, people submitted like dozens upon hundreds of questions. Thank you all for doing that. And if you're not on the Discord already, you should go there and join and see some of the fantastic minis people are doing for their own campaigns, character art, fan art of our characters, which new characters soon. But our previous campaign that is over now, there's fan art of that stuff, as well as robust discussions of all the past episodes. So
we're also going to be doing a huge makeover of the Discord soon, so that we can make room for campaign 2, but keep things spoiler friendly for people that are just discovering Peek Beneath the Veil, our first campaign. So I'm sure it's gonna be a mess for like a day.
Recognizable, but new and exciting.
Of course, but then Duty and Pokodoko, our mods, will message me being like, this is a mess. And I'll be like, you're right, I'm sorry.
They're the best mods, is what I will say. I joined relatively recently, and it is a fabulous Discord. Everyone is so nice and welcoming, and the mods are amazing.
On top of the best. You guys are the best. One other thing I think we wanted to say is, if we don't get to a question this evening, I think we're going to put a place where we might be able to type some answers back to you if we have a moment. Because if you feel like if you feel like there was something you really wanted answered that we didn't get to, are we making a separate chain for that or something?
We might just respond to whatever questions are left open. We're gonna close questions as we go through tonight.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're getting a nice view behind the curtain. But yeah, so we're gonna try to do that. I
think that's.
I took the rails right out.
Patreon, join it.
Oh yes.
There's tiers. Little bit.
So,
that's how it works.
Patrons at any tier get like early access to all of our YouTube uploads, so you can watch everything in 1440. But if you go from Big Notch or higher, you get our homebrewery PDFs. This month, Matthew, would you like to?
Yeah, so earlier in the campaign, I believe during the Genesis episodes, Bizarra came into possession of Romulo's Book of Contingencies, which was a very sort of erratic magic item that produced unpredictable effects. this month's Patreon is Romulo's Bouquet of Contingencies, another magic item of his that involves a little bit of interactive elements. So you actually get to pluck flowers from the bouquet. We haven't constructed the whole thing, but there's templates for constructing a little bouquet, and then you pluck a bud, and it produces random crazy effects.
Give it. Let the
Oh,
man.
yes.
Do you
please.
see him? Look at him. He's losing his mind over
to
here.
figure this.
So walk him through it. How does it work?
The red one is, I believe, so each of them is a reaction in response to different events. Okay. So if you're about to be reduced to 0 hit points, you can pluck a red bulb, which is the bulb that you have. Okay. And when you pluck it, you can roll, or you can pick a number 1 through 8.
4.
Go ahead and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Look inside and pick a number on the inside.
Oh, this is hard. 1, 2, 5, or 6. 5.
And then you get to read the effects of the...
You cast hypnotic patterns centered on yourself.
Oh.
No concentration required. Oh no, that's a good thing.
Yes, because
I
you're
thought that I would be
unconscious.
affected. Oh, I'm unconscious.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
great.
when you reduce to 0 hit points.
Yeah, no concentration required, because
You're unconscious.
the size of its area of effect is double.
So when you go out, you poof a big hypnotic pattern, and
So then your enemies and your allies can go.
can be stunned.
That's great.
So lots of cool random magical effects. That will be we're dropping that tomorrow.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
Juicy stuff.
Join the
Was there,
Patreon.
yes, join the Patreon. Was there anything that you wanted to say about mini campaign, baby campaign? I like to call it.
Baby campaign. Yes, starting next week and for 4 weeks is a little bridge campaign. That's sort of a fun little dungeon crawl while we bridge the gap between campaign 1 and campaign 2. It's just going to be kind of goofy and fun. It'll be a lot of combat, a lot of, again, sort of dungeon crawl. We'll be having some new guests on the show and some old guests on the show to participate. People will be hopping kind of in and out. And more details about that, but it's going to be a little mystical. If there was anyone here who happened to catch some of the side quests that we did back when we were virtual briefly.
Throwback.
They're going to be similar in that they're a little less narrative focused and a little more thrown into a situation focused. So that is what that will be. And then there will be a break week, and then we will... What are we doing after that?
Launching. We're launching off.
Starting campaign 2.
Yes, campaign 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Will we find out any information about campaign 2 tonight?
We might at the very end.
Oh, what a little bit.
You, Matt, you piece of work. You will be a naughty lad.
Saucy little boy. Oh boy, here we go.
Yes. So we'll get to that. But does that cover all the?
End of the campaign merch ideas are in the works. I'm just waiting for some sample sales to arrive to make sure they print okay.
Oh,
but
there's
yes,
some very
we've
cute,
got merch. We're not currently wearing any of it because it's formal evening
Yes,
tonight.
it's
It's formal
formal
wear, and we don't have a gown
But we
in our
should.
merchandise.
Yes.
But we should. We should.
Negligee.
Oh, so also, gosh, there's so many announcements tonight.
Gauzes.
As we
Sorry.
what's happening? As we close a very big chapter, I wanted to thank some folks that have just supported the show for extended periods of time, whether through the community or monetarily, which has been amazing. So I'm just gonna run through a quick little list here. Bear with me. So for our timestampers and mods, Dude, Jeremiah, and Pokodoko have been amazing. The people that are now official fandom builders of our site, they've got little roles and stuff on fandom and in our Discord. Ignorant Science, ASD Zocker, and Snowbee. If you ever want to join them, go ahead and check out the fandom section on our Discord. The top gifters at the end of campaign 1: Jack Rubber Power, Crazy Locha, Icardon, Dome 1, Somber 77, Snapping Cobra 94, Varnathan, Thaddeus, Johnny Gadfly, Banished Raven. The top bidders: Broken Dragon Scale, Crazy Locha, Jack Rubber Power, Mr. Jingleheimer, Ali Slayer, Cool Shaper, Snapping Cobra, Dave the One, Banished Raven, Ethan M. High tier subs, people who have subbed at the higher tiers for extended periods of time: Ethan M, Cool Shafer, and Mishka in 1989. And then Travis, obviously, for all of the clips on the Twitch. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Seriously,
Thank you,
that is incredible, and you've been incredibly supportive of this, and we're happy to bring you more as the weeks roll on.
Heck yeah. And then are we saving, Dude made us a delightful graphic. Are we saving that for after the intro?
Oh, it will be the first thing we show after
Amazing.
we get back from the intro.
All right. Well,
I think I falsely said this last time, but we're now going to roll the intro for the last time. Well, you can still do that. I'm just prepping.
Got it.
It'll be the last time that we roll this intro.
We won't
and
use this for the mini campaign? Yeah, I guess not.
No, there's gonna be a silly little thing for the mini cam.
Oh, yeah. Hopeful Optimus resubscribed, Lightfighter NCO resubscribed, Lowbrass Guy resubscribed, Wizrena Ink gave out a community sub, Cool Shaver did 500 bits, Frankie Makes resubscribed, Hopeful Optimus did 69 bits and then another 10. Solid. It's amazing. Strong resubscribed, Going Forever resubscribed, Half Baked gifted a sub, and then Grass Ninja subscribed with Prime. Thank you, welcome, hello. Did you know that you can subscribe to a channel for free with Twitch on Prime?
It's true.
Oh.
If you are a Prime subscriber, you can do it very easily. Yeah.
Amazing. All right.
Grazie.
Thank you guys so much. We're gonna get to the questions, but before we do that, for the last time, let's roll the intro for A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we dive into the questions, we did want to show.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it. 'Cause
I have to do it.
I no longer have the stream deck available.
All right. Here's a beautiful, beautiful graphic.
Yes.
By Dude.
Courtesy of Dude, infographic for. This is just season 2, correct? Yeah,
Correct.
It's up in there. That's already there in the corner. Season 2 stats of A Peek Beneath the Veil. Did you want to go through some there?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely can. So the SUHID, I was too dumb to figure it out. Oh, okay, great. Show us how it's done.
Show us how it's done.
The killing blow
Got it.
sequence. Yes.
Suhids.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Suhids.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I was not the only one who couldn't get that right away.
Like, why does Matt not have any Suhids?
Here's the thing that initially stuck out to me as people peruse the stats. If you look at Matthew's stats, the number of PC knockouts is 25, and I asked Dude how many of those were from the Cold Lightwalker fight alone.
Oh my god.
And I think he said it was 9 of them, 8 or 9 of them.
I think that was
were
that
from
I
the Cold
asked.
Lightwalker fight.
From those 3 episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Out of
believe it.
49.
I believe it.
Wow.
People were getting yo-yoed up and down quite a
Yeah.
bit during.
Yeah, that was
the
rough.
fights.
That was
Yeah.
chain res.
I got two on me.
It was rough to watch. Rough to watch as a fan.
So we had Riley was the just a little bit overgraven in these shows.
I'm
shocked.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
That's
shocked
amazing.
by that.
Yes.
What the hell?
You don't remember? Less memorable?
I guess.
She took your crown.
Hey, and you finally didn't have the most natural ones in a season.
Again, the percentage of how many times I rolled, I bet would have to tell a different story. But yes, I'm very proud of myself.
You've come so far
So far.
over the course of our time together.
Mhm.
What was the other one that I wanted
Some
to look
fun.
at?
Wow, that's
Sean. Oh my god.
What's it?
Oh yeah, what? I didn't even look at all these numbers on the right.
Oh,
What are
yeah.
those?
Oh, the
Recap
number.
questions
Recap
pondered.
questions that you asked.
Oh my god.
I wonder how many of them were sick burns.
Yeah, it doesn't have a percentage of sick burns.
It's usually just like the last one, right?
Yeah, and even then sometimes it's not a
I
burn.
would say okay, so
Maybe less
if
than
the
a third.
third was every, because you asked about 3 questions.
Right. It's always the
Comedy comes in threes. It's not a third, maybe a fourth, maybe a quarter of those. So a quarter of 144 is
1/4 of 144.
I did the square root of 144 is 12.
Yep.
And I cut that in half for some reason and came up with the number 6. So that's how
Excellent.
many.
Isn't it 24? Because
12 times
if
12.
12 times 12,
Should
12
I
times
pull
12
out
is
the
144.
calculator?
No, 12 times 12 is 144.
Yes.
See how many
So
level
then-
ups do we get?
So then,
No, that's not right. I'm not doing it.
wouldn't
Don't do
swear.
math on
I
the stream.
quit.
Don't do
It's
math.
also
I quit.
just a guess anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause we don't have the number.
That's true.
I don't know why it's a quarter anyways.
205 natural ones rolled between the cast. 24 belonging to guests. 24 belonging to
Okay.
guests.
Somebody did have a. Was it you that
I
had a
had-
rough
well,
time as
Did
Harriet?
someone have a memorable natural one as a guess?
I think I had a couple because I was poisoned.
Yes.
So I think I had
You had a lot of
like
disadvantage
a lot
rolls.
of disadvantage
Yeah.
rolls, and so I got a bunch.
I can see that.
Yeah, and you had more than a couple combats, so.
Yeah.
That's true. And Erica had a lot of chances. She was here for at least 4 episodes, I
Yeah.
think. 5.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, in
sure,
her
She was
earlier
here a lot.
Yeah.
And I had to roll a bajillion dice during
Oh
her
my
wild
God.
magic surges, so I don't know
Oh
if there was
my
any natural one.
Well,
I don't
do
know
those
if she
count as
said.
natural ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't
don't
think
know if
she
she said.
said them is the thing, because the only thing that mattered was
Yeah.
whether it was a 20 or
20.
not. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we only had her announcement.
Or did it only matter if it was a 1?
I think it
I think
only
it only
mattered
mattered if it was a 1.
one.
Okay, so I think she did roll.
So she
a
rolled
few,
at least
a few.
It was like 3 on that one.
Yeah.
She had like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Not a skill check natural one. I don't know if that's included, but yeah.
Oh, no.
Amazing.
Days of continuous watching.
But anyway, we'll definitely throw this into the Discord of those part of the.
Oh no.
Pogodoga's gonna make a thing. What? What are you pointing at?
I'm nothing. Keep going.
What are you?
I just
Damage
keep
by
seeing-
Graven?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most single turn damage by Graven, 378. That was against the plant.
The plant when
Yeah,
I did
with
the fireball
Praxis.
had the like
Yeah.
a couple of them.
Because you not only hit and it was vulnerable, but it hit its individual little things that were technically separate targets.
Oh yeah.
So you did.
You nailed it.
And a lot of them failed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was tasty. We're gonna throw this in our Discord in the part of the spoiler section, is what I was trying to say previously. And give Duday a shout out for their hard work. Thank you, Duday.
Awesome. All right, we can come back to the main view.
There we go.
Nice.
Much better.
Yes.
Perfect.
There we go. Excellent. Well, let's turn it over to our
Yes.
Master of Ceremonies.
Hello, everyone. I am Deirdre. I'm a guest and a fan. And a fan theorist
You
from
are.
the beginning.
Her hot takes.
I
and-
have been coming up with dead on takes. Every single one is right, and Matt's gonna prove it on the stream tonight. Because I got questions that aren't even on the Discord that I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
This is a hostile takeover.
We can't even stop you.
No, you literally can't. You were like, Deirdre, do you want to MC? And I was like, do I ever? So I'm very happy to be here. Why don't we jump right in? Because I know that's what people want. So this is a question by Spider Wrangler. And it is about final episode cameos. So Wadu was the biggest one, but the finale gave a rare chance to see old NPCs, and even in eps leading up to it, hearing Josco and seeing Jillian. Were there old NPCs that Matt wanted or considered having make an appearance? any waiting in the wings that the party wasn't ready for? And are there any that you guys wish had visited?
That's a great question. I think that what was fun about coming back to Navikapura for the last episode is there was a lot of options. I didn't know who you guys were gonna see. There was a lot of opportunities to see different people. I didn't know if you were gonna head over to the Upa Ale House and say hi to Satyria, because she had become kind of like a base of operations for you guys while you were in Navikapura.
Although wasn't she technically with Cliff?
You found out that she had been doing some work with Cliff, yes, but there was the opportunity to perhaps poke around either the militia reserves for Mr. Thorsten Ramaker.
I thought about Thorsten.
To maybe ask around at All Hands on Deck for Villapon Willoughby. I didn't know if he was going to show up at the last minute.
There's too many good ones. We couldn't have seen them all.
Creep over to Reciprocity and see if Senka Uberti was still there.
Ooh,
You gonna tell us? You gonna tell us if he was?
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of... I obviously had the idea that Wadu was in town because he'd been recruited by Mohan Fowler. But yeah, was there anyone you guys were like, man, I wish we had...
I mean, so I think one of the big ones for Graven is Thorsten and Mr. 2. Like, that was a huge part of my travels
Detective
there.
Graven.
Exactly.
Dum dum.
But there's also a part of me that was like, I kind of have to leave that alone because I was warned to, like, best case scenario for Graven is that Mr. 2 is long gone and I shut up about it. But yes, I just saw somebody asked in the chat, is Thorsten still alive? If I had gone to see Thorsten, would he have been there?
Thorsten was still alive.
He's still alive.
Yeah, listen to you.
So if
Oh,
he
good.
did, continue that line of questioning, he did it on the DL, which is good for him. So maybe he has.
Oh my god,
Wish
what if
I'd
you had
gone and seen him.
information
I
about
know.
Mr.
I know. Well, Mr. 2 is definitely one of those ones that, like, that's a highlight for me in general. So yeah, I do regret not seeing any more of that.
We'll shout out some comments as we go. I think we all know Cheeks did the most damage to Graven.
Damage?
I mean,
He
were
he
shook.
not only
psychic
ruined your mall,
He did.
Did ruin
Yeah.
it all.
He did
but he
ruin them all.
also awoke something in you.
Oh my god.
No, he
Just
did not.
deep within your soul.
Awakening damage.
Very,
Yeah.
very
Yes.
uncomfortable.
No, it was a delight.
Oh, that's right, my mace, my face
Or your-
mace.
Your
Your
mace.
Absolutely.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Was there anyone you were like, oh, I wish we had talked to them at the end, or?
Oh, I just wanted to see with you.
Yay!
But I was secretly hoping to find out something about Mr. Yagold. Like, I just...
Oh my
whether
god.
it was a fresh tombstone or like
Oh
a
my
fresh
God.
grave dug or the Yagolds all having a
Family,
drink at the ale house,
just
or looking for a half out.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was waiting to hear about that one.
Yeah, there was definitely some like characters I thought, depending on where you guys went, could just have like a walk on. Like you literally like see him go by. That was something relating to that was one of them. Sam the Fletcher, the mumbling Fletcher.
yeah.
Like, who was another? Oh, Ken Reggie of the Broken Crown. I thought maybe you guys
Yes, oh my god.
see him as you were walking around town.
I also asked you
Best
because we
friend.
still have the flower that makes somebody 10 times more intoxicated from a.
Oh my god, right.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are we doing in Navikapura? Who are we doing dirty?
Yeah.
Ken would have been a good one for
Ken would have
that.
been fun.
Mess with him, yeah.
Yeah.
I am seeing Steve in here. He was not in the right place, but did we ever wish that we could have
Oh.
seen Steve again? Or
course.
was
Oh,
it
God.
is it better not to have
I mean,
to let that poor guy go?
He did kind of fuck us.
He fucked us pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Steve Beckener and Chupa chapters 3 through 7 or something.
Steve.
Let something slip.
Yeah, he really fucked it up.
My question was, upon talking to a man like that,
Sure.
does one trust a man like that with information?
I mean,
You want to be as hopeful and optimistic
it
as
was
you
the
can be.
early days. You guys were
That's
bright-eyed
so
and bushy.
stupid.
He was 5-0, though.
What'd you say?
It was 5-0. It was memory.
He even got a promotion the second time. he
Oh.
saw
Oh,
it.
jeez.
Oh yeah, because he ran.
So that leads me into my next question, which was, who are your favorite NPCs the whole campaign? This is from Coffee Beans, and this is for the cast, but also for Matt. Do you have a favorite NPC that you played?
I'm gonna let you guys go for it.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I mean, and again, he's been on my mind. That last big time we were in a city for the longest time. It was such an affecting part of the story for Graven. But Mr. 2 is so interesting to me. Like
He's scary.
He's very scary,
Yeah.
and there is that question of, is his goal to literally just move on from there, like get what he wanted from that place and move on, or is he like looking to set up shop and like be a new, BBEG or Grand Evil, and just the mask and the magic and that's way up there for me.
I think Mr. 2's name is gonna pop up a lot throughout these. Questions.
Oh, they meant like campaign
In
Jews
campaign.
still
I know, right? Yeah, that one definitely stands out to me.
Jordy?
Yes, I'm trying to keep the Discord in order
I
as
know.
well.
We got
Discorder.
The
Discorder.
I call for Discorder. Dumb. Favorite NPC. I mean, I loved all of them. Every time we had a guide, I wanted to just have them forever. Like, of course, Gilead, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But like Praxis was so much fun to have around too. I loved having him.
Yeah. They all had such like flushed out reasons for being with us. They had other connections to people, like hidden connections to people we knew,
Yeah.
some we didn't. Like, yeah, it's great. Josco is another one. I think that you could call him a guide.
Became a
as
guide
well.
at the end there.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And then he
that's
never called
top
me
5.
again.
Wow.
Yes,
He will.
Give
He'll
him time.
call
He
you.
blew his
busy.
wad on all those messages.
He really did.
Yeah, gotta take it smooth.
Yeah, Jessica's definitely up there as one of my favorites.
You guides are definitely tricky because
know.
you don't want them to. I don't want them to. I'm sure different campaigns are different. Have them turn into kind of DMPCs that like follow the party around for
Sure.
an inordinate amount of time. I mean, I've made a very concentrated effort with Jillian because the mission was really the sort of large in scope to have her get separated and then find her way back rather than just be with you guys the whole time. Because
Sure.
I think you want to let the group sort of find their own way, and then if they get off the rails, she shows back up and gets you back on the rails. But
Somebody who sometimes I think we forget about because we weren't around him all that much. I loved Blom. Like I thought he was.
Blom.
I love his. I don't like you, but I'm gonna help you.
Yeah.
NPCs. Those are always really
That's a
fun,
lot of
and they
fun.
always say
Yeah.
really mean things that are very funny and just go right to the heart.
Yeah, definitely.
Just really break us. But I love Blom. He was so much fun.
in terms of getting to play them, I definitely like some of the people you meet in areas you're not expecting to meet people, like people almost like borderline feral people, like the Marcus of the Mountains and the Spuds, like the people that are like on the fringes of kind of civilization a little bit. Who's the guy?
The guy.
Theocus in the
Yeah.
in the Ebb Woods, like just some of the people where you're not expecting to meet an NPC necessarily, and you run into somebody.
Or the spiritual guy after the Cold Light Walker fight out in the blizzard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just people who kind of
Remember his name.
you just kind of very quickly cross paths with some of these people who are out there for various reasons, and those ones are always fun.
I think my favorite.
yes.
Well, there are too many to pick one, but I really liked the Lemonade Man. He's scary
Oh my
as hell.
And we
That's
only
a
saw him like twice.
scary guy, but he sticks in
He
your brain.
loomed large.
He did loom large.
Looming
Very,
lemonade,
very,
largely.
very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was
Not
gonna
at
say
all.
too.
Not at all.
his-
I'm benevolent as an MC. I share the stage with all.
like his whole him and Norm, as a group and the people that they worked with. That, again, we may not have even seen them all together, but like that faction of like the Lemonade Man. I was gonna say the Ainsleys as well, both Donovan and Michael, who like, what was it? What was the lady?
Can't wait.
There was a lady that we met. Felicia, who called him, you have to go see Mikhail. Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah, that bitch. But the Ainsleys and how they, for Graven was like this, again, like this stretch of, oh, well, I get to see Michael again. I never used that damn gel on my arm that I should have before I crunched it into the ground like a
So many questions.
damn
Like a
chooch. Yes.
I think at one point you considered in that moment being like,
Yeah, like, or like getting down on the ground and rubbing my arm where it was in the ground.
Oh no.
But yeah, so Michael to begin with, and meeting Donovan again later, who again was like not how I thought he was gonna be at all. But still, like, what was the deal with him? Okay, here's a question. What was the deal with his canes?
Are we doing this?
Was
We're
there
just
like a
Yeah.
thing?
we're
Was
going
there a
off the
thing with the
rails.
canes?
Not like tied to a bigger plot line, if
Okay.
that's what you mean. So he I think his assistant might have mentioned it. Donovan Ainsley provides a lot of his life cleric services pro bono, like for free, but as a little sort of side business. He has these sort of magical staves that he sells to wealthy people who it's like a status symbol to own an Ainsley walking stick is a token of great status or importance.
Twitch chat's calling us out. How have we not mentioned Boofmere?
Oh,
How?
Yes, Wolfmere had a couple key appearances there.
Another thing that loomed large, like we meet his cleric first in the soul shelter long ago, and again you get this picture, or I did at least, in your mind of, yes, he's the god of trickery, but he has a similarly bad relationship with his cleric, so you think he might be a very Kuzny-like figure, and he ends up being very
I mean, Avavarius wasn't really like a bucket of laughs when we met him.
No.
So maybe they just,
The dude's been down there eating
No, I
good berries for like 90 years.
Not of Avarius, that's the Goliath.
Oh
okay.
no. Asvalder, sorry.
Asvalder, yeah.
My bad. Two AV names.
As
Balder.
Balder.
Close enough.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, we have to keep chugging.
Yes,
oh my god,
please.
She
Let's-
is having us
let's
on
keep
tap.
you on
Keep
tap.
chugging.
Nice.
Okay. So this is from End of Love. Hey gang, I came in
Hey.
via it must be campaign 2 and found myself falling in love with the characters and loved seeing the story unfold. My question to you all is, do you feel like your characters were fully realized by the end of the campaign? Do you feel like you went through development, like thorough development, and had happy closures to your stories? Personally, I say yes, but please share. Much love from Australia. That's not me. I'm reading End of Love.
You're not from
I'm not from Australia.
Okay. Oh, it's so hard to say. I mean, we spent 149 episodes with these
4
characters.
years.
So like,
Yeah.
was I? Sorry, what's the question?
Do you feel like you ended the stories in a satisfying way? Do you feel like you developed your character the way you liked? Obviously, there's more story to tell, but do you feel like you're happy where it ended?
I mean, yeah, if the question is satisfied, yes.
Aw.
Yes. I Graven, especially right near the end here, very much shot the moon with what he imagined could happen, I for a long time was ready to it be like a very sacrificial ending for Graven. I think I said that to some of the other PCs and NPCs where I was like ready to say like, this thing needs to happen. I promised it to myself and many people long ago, and like however whatever shape that takes, and like it took a very pleasing shape. Family members right there in my face, Kuzni completely severed, and like this cool weapon and a barbarian tower. It's like,
Until Urash takes it back.
we'll have a little convo about that. We can share it. But yeah, like many years ago, there was a time where I thought, is Graven gonna move into a different cleric school? Am I gonna completely take on I started taking levels in fighter, or I think the choice was between fighter and druid, right? Was I gonna take the druid path? Was I gonna take the fighter path? Was I gonna end up full fighter? And this is all to say, yes, it was a very satisfying, I think, for me, way to end it, and cathartic and surprising. So,
Oh, am I pleased with how I actually saved this question as well?
Yeah.
I fully realized, like, I think I liked where the story ended for Orba, but I do think that she has so much left to do and a lot of growing left to do.
Yeah.
Because I think she's starting to figure out that she can't keep people as close as maybe she would like. I think she really learned that the hard way finally.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to hear about what the next 10 years of trying to navigate that do to her. Like, at one point I was trying to figure out if she would kind of just follow in the footsteps of Josco Tibbets, where he became like a hermit and kind of wanted to keep himself away from everyone and everything.
Yeah.
But then I was like, no, I think I really love when Orba stays in a very hopeful and determined place in the world. And I think Josco kind of dismissed himself from that perspective for a while. So I wanted to keep her resilience alive. So I would be curious to see how she handles that with age, because she's still so young.
oh,
She's such a baby.
Just a tall baby.
oh.
So tall.
I heard how you bad.
That leads me to my next silly little question. Who's the tallest Il Vibro?
Oh no!
Everyone wants to know.
tallest
Who's the
Il
tallest?
Vibro?
Everyone can theorize, but I think Matt has final call on, and this includes Orba, obviously. She is
I am
now an Il
Orba's
Vibro.
not taller than the Ilvigos.
That's too bad.
Are you sure?
Yes.
As of now, for each god you kill, you grow another inch.
No, it's gotta be
That
more
is
than
not
one
canon.
inch. There's only 5 more left. I gotta grow a full foot, I think.
It's not gonna happen. All right. So, out of the 3 that we have met, Graven, Sasha, Rumik, do you have an idea of who?
I didn't put this into their backstories when I wrote it, but I pictured Rumik being the tallest, the younger
The
brother.
youngest?
Yeah,
Aw.
I pictured him being kind of tall and lanky, strong, almost like a sort of a boxer's build. That has kind of,
I
that's
see
what
that.
That's
I
what I
like
kind of
that.
pictured. So yeah, I pictured him being like
Yeah,
that.
I can see that. But then Graven's next. Very close, half an inch.
Roll a d6.
Yeah.
And that's how many
let's
inches shorter you are.
Wait, so I want to roll a 1.
Yes.
Yes.
see. Oh my goodness.
Ghostbusters.
It's Ghostbusters.
A full.
You've been rolling
half
hard Ghostbusters.
Wow.
That's not canon.
It
It
just
is.
became canon.
It's canon.
Just become canon.
So
That's how it works.
now everybody knows. What about if her horns grow in? Is she gonna be taller?
Yeah, what are
I
my
think
horns
that's a
gonna
good
look
No
like?
way, they're gonna curl back.
Point.
They're gonna curl back.
No,
Way back.
some tieflings.
It's definitely gonna add a little bit of height.
Okay,
I don't know.
alright.
I don't know if it'll bridge the gap.
Just gonna get a cute pair of
There's
platform booties.
still hope for Orba. But now we can put this to bed. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it moving. So this is from Duday.
Yeah, Duday.
He's
Yeah,
the best,
come
but I'm
I
always
hope
like, how does
that's
one
how I
say
say
that
it,
out
and I'm
loud?
saying it for you.
Duday. Season 1 had us watch over 350 hours of Tabletop Notch, and season 2 is just under 160, which we just saw that graphic. Peek Beneath the Veil spans 4 years and totaled 509 hours and 17 minutes and 48 seconds of campaign time, full of hijinks, mystery, and found family. And so much more than I can put into words. That's almost 21 and a half days of nonstop content.
Oh my god.
So these people who are saying, "Oh, I've been binging the show," this puts that into context.
Yes.
Dang.
Somebody just recently wrote they spent 151 days watching an episode a night. They just watched one episode every night.
And it took, sorry, how many?
151.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Genesis.
Of course.
I don't know if that includes talkbacks, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's wild. That's months.
That's crazy.
That's months.
Sorry, you can continue with the actual question.
So the actual question is, what's the secret? What kept you guys going and diving further into this? It's obviously a big commitment, but you guys have been telling an amazing story for 4 years.
What is the secret? There isn't one. I mean, just a combination of loving the story.
Yeah.
Loving, like, I think all of us also just like putting on a show. Like, it's not to say that we wouldn't play D&D if we didn't have the stream, but we like that aspect of it. Like, we like that it has a kind of, like, we know that there's an audience, however big or small that is. Like, just the fact that there's other eyes on it has a kind of, just that extra quality to it that makes it feel like, oh, somebody's like watching, like trying to figure it out just like I am, trying to put all the pieces together just like I am.
There's also been like a lot of folks who will comment on our videos saying like TTN kind of helped them get through like some tougher times in life, and like that applies to us as well. There's for sure been like weeks of time where we're just like, Jesus, everything else sucks. But at least like for Sunday from 7 to 10, you can just like let it go and leave it outside and just dive into something that takes up all your imagination.
Yeah, we have a pretty hard, like, when you're here to play D&D, you're here to play D&D rule, and that's not to like, tell people to shut up about their real life shit. It's just like you said, we let it all go, and for those few hours, like that's what we're doing, and that's it.
Don't get us wrong. As soon as the Be Right Back video starts to play,
It's chaos.
it's chaos. But
it's been fun the entire time.
Yes.
Like,
helps.
That's a reason. And for me at least, like finding out what's gonna happen to Graven, and like, where's mommy? You know, questions like that. Things inside of this man's ridiculous mind that I wanted to suss out. The best way to find those things out is to
Gotta play.
I gotta come and try to squeak them out of him, you know. So
Someone has called you out hard. They said, Tony loves us so much he was talking to us from his own wedding. Is that really true?
okay.
Does your darling wife know about this?
She knows. She was a little surprised too. When we say my wedding, I got married
Honeymoon or
last
the
July.
wedding?
What's that?
The honeymoon or the wedding?
the day he got married.
The day
okay.
of the wedding. Yeah. Which, again, a little, not to get too personal, but like, I went to City Hall, with some family. And so, yes, at one point, I think in a cab ride from like one place to another, I like hit the wave high button on the welcome page, and then somebody immediately was like, you're getting married today. What the hell is going on? And I think my wife only found this out not that long ago.
About
Hi, dear.
watching this movie.
Hi,
sensuous.
So, yeah, the sensuous being. Yes. So, yes, technically, on the day of my wedding, I did look in on the Discord. Because looking on the Discord.
Oh my god.
It's a part of you.
It is.
Well,
The short answer is you have to love it. You just have to love doing it because it is a lot of work. Even just playing a game without the stream is a lot of work. Doing it with the stream is a ton of work. And like, we streamed for a long time for a much, much smaller audience, and we feel so fortunate that has grown since then. But if you get discouraged, if you don't love it, you will get discouraged very fast. Is the short of it. Like, you will simply get burned out if you don't. If you can't do it in a vacuum because you love doing it, it will burn you out real
fun.
quick.
Yeah.
that is great. Thank you so much.
That is
How are we
acceptable.
doing?
I like
Are we
that.
living up to expectations?
No, I don't think we're getting that question on. Sorry, losing my mind over here. So let's take it back. So Travis Gog said,
Travis is in the chat right
I'm just
now.
guessing.
There you
Hey,
go,
Travis, what up? I have no idea how to say your whole screen name, but hey, Travis Gog, do we know what Bizarra is up to? Is her draft jacket super teched out?
I like to imagine that she's made several additions to the draft jacket. I think that I'm sure we will talk a little bit about the main cast that went on their own adventures and what those characters are up to and what I had in mind for them. For Bizarra, the hunt for the chess pieces continues, obviously. I mean, that's her golden ticket out of the situation that she's in. I think the situation, as it was sort of implied in the campaign, got complicated a little bit into Vikapura. So in my head, she went back to either one of the cities you've been, like Mukmur took to, or she maybe went north to Dillasoon, tried to find a different place where she could maybe acquire some of these pieces without some of the eyes that she knew were on her in Vikapura. Yeah.
Do you think that she went to Carver Colossus? Because he was doing those like challenges?
Contracts, yep. So on the way up to Dillasoon, you could pass right by Golrapalga, I think it was called, and that's where Carver Colossus was. It's certainly plausible that she stopped to see. Maybe you guys could have stood on one of the peaks of the Roper Mountains and on a clear day seen her slaying a creature. Yeah, so she might have gotten a quest from him, but I do like to believe that she got enough chess pieces to get to that breaking point where I won't make the decision for her, but I think was implied several times throughout the campaign. She wasn't sure once she had enough whether she was going to send them all to the Baron, Thomas Pendle, or to join the club herself.
Scary NPCs. Thomas Pendle. That was
I know, we never got
bastard. We never got to see him again.
Chapter 3.
I think there's probably a world where you guys cross paths with him again at some point. Because he came up again later.
The genius.
Yes, the genius.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was one of theirs.
That he was possibly a pawn of it. Oh, he was a pawn. So yes, I think Bizarra, we'll say that where we ended A Peek Beneath the Veil, Bizarra was probably mired in her decision of whether to send the pieces or to join the club herself and see what that kind of status might allow her to achieve.
Which is rough, because she's just walking around with like 12 fucking chess pieces.
Yeah.
You can't like put them somewhere.
No.
Just walking around with them.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
And her 1,000 gold.
You could get murdered by someone, like Holt Moreno. You could just get
jeez.
murdered.
Did he have chess pieces?
Tactical decision.
She
He did. We didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, if he did, we didn't find him.
Oh,
He had
right,
information that might have led
murdered
to
and
chess.
then searched his.
He was like, "You didn't send them right away when you got any. Why would I have them on me?"
That's crazy. What kind of idiot would carry around chess pieces?
Right.
What kind of idiot? So that actually sort of leads me into some, can we talk about Erlin's backstory now? Can we talk about his family, how he got poisoned? How did he get sent to Atonement's End? Who was that sketchy gnome he once mentioned?
Oh my god, the wiry
gnome.
gnome.
The wiry gnome. I know. I
And
wrote
can
that
I
as like
also-
just a quick description, like that he met a wiry gnome, and
Hilarious.
man, he grasped onto that description. Wiry
In a
gnome.
span of 30 seconds.
Yes, the wiry gnome.
Who wrote that one?
Coffee Beans wrote that. Thank you, Coffee Beans. And then sort of the same kind of stuff goes for Saphira, if we can get backstories on them. Sorry, this is the Matt portion
Oh yeah.
of
I knew they were coming. So because we chatted a little bit about this, but
Go for it.
we'll talk about Erland first. People picked up bits and pieces along the way. He went to he went to the Halls of Transmutation by sort of blackmailing his way in, blackmailing Grimari, who he had actually plagiarized. That was not a lie. He had plagiarized some works, and he blackmailed his way into getting in the halls, which he sort of was underqualified for. And during his time at the halls, he proved to be not really a good enough student, and he was falling behind. And in an effort to keep up his studies, he started experimenting with myconid extract. That was his exposure to that. Turns out that, as we know, he was especially susceptible to myconid extract. It's a type 3, myconid, type C, not 3. Type C.
Don't you know the lore?
Do you even know what
Get
is
on the
that?
Discord,
Does that mean
bruh.
like when a type C just takes myconid extract, is it even more effective, or do they feel more severe symptoms of the versions of their withdrawals?
It's not more effective. It is more draining on the body. Like you feel, you get addicted to it faster. You sort of suffer symptoms of it faster.
Poor buddy.
Fast forward from there, I think some of the key plot points going forward were Erland found out from his possible hallucinations, Barry and Cypress, that he was deteriorating faster than he thought.
Yeah.
And he was sort of looking for a cure to that. I think Orba and maybe somebody else posited that Grimari might be able to provide at least advice on how to cure that affliction. And then another major thread, especially after Erland went off with another Atonement's End monk that he had met, the idea that
Oh my god, what happened there?
there was this idea based on some information that he got that Atonement's End, in an effort to keep up their reputation, was intentionally putting myconid extract into people's, not force feeding them or anything, but making sure they had access to it. So their numbers had dwindled a little bit. The people that they were getting sent to Atonement's End couldn't stand up to the training. They were sort of weak-willed. A lot of them couldn't hack it. So they needed an infusion of talent at Atonement's End. So there was kind of a backhanded agreement to get myconid extract into places like the Halls of Transmutation, where people were very bright, very committed, very good students, and that those would be better candidates for Atonement's End. And not just there; they sent it to other places too. And I can now also reveal the sort of twist on twist to that, which is that so Erland, after that conversation with his friend, the monk, believed that he was one of those people, that he had been coerced is maybe a little strong, but that he'd been targeted. Yeah, that they had intentionally made sure that he got his hands on it. And that the truth was actually, I called it my Minority Report twist. The truth was actually that wasn't the case. The wiry gnome had no connection to Atonement's End and the people there, so that Erland at some point would find a record of like Atonement's End saying we targeted this person, like this all these lists, and that Erland actually wasn't on that list. So that he sort of took it of his own volition without being kind of duped or coerced or tricked into it. But
that's a soul seed.
Wow, that's damn Matt. That's good.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That was the bad news. The good news is, as you thought a little bit, Grimari may have had some ideas about how to possibly, if not cure him, prolong his life and make sure that he didn't sort of continue to deteriorate from the myconid extract.
Can we ask, like, what that conversation would have been? Like, was Grimari going to reluctantly work with Erland? Was he feeling so much guilt that he, like, has forgiven Erland at this point? Like, what were Grimari's initial feelings?
I think that it would have depended a little bit on the way in which that conversation happened. If it was a one-on-one with Erland, if it was the whole group sort of meeting Grimari.
Sure.
I think that as you guys slowly learned over time after visiting the harvesting yard, Grimari, while very much does not have clean hands, realized that his vision was spiraling out of control. That the Gentle Void with the harvesting yard was using that in ways that he did not intend and that were not his original plans, and so he sort of fled, and that's why he sought asylum at the Shade Assembly, because he was worried that his fleeing would, make him a target forever or forever long. And that I think there was an opportunity for some kind of bargain to be struck where Grimari hires you guys to, break up some of this Gentle Void activity that was going on, and in exchange helping Erland, cure himself or at least prolong his life.
Wow.
But yeah, because I think he still wanted some of what they were doing, but he felt like his knowledge had been abused. So he definitely wanted help reclaiming that. And in doing so would have made it so he didn't have to, hide in the Shade Assembly for the rest of his life.
Oh,
Right.
That sucks.
Yeah, he's been there for like 2 years or something, right? Maybe more?
I don't think it's been that long.
few months.
But
Actually,
like
yeah.
444.
He's already.
You're talking about in the Shade Assembly?
Yeah. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
he was out of the myconid trade before.
And then there was a
it took
gap.
while.
Yeah, because there was a
Right,
gap there where he
right.
was trying to get asylum and he couldn't. He was trying to
Right.
find people who could help him get in there. So he was basically like, darting from city to city trying to avoid Gentle Void and the Lemonade Man and all those people.
Damn.
Poor Erland,
That's
man.
spicy.
Thought that he was set up.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
that would have been a blow.
Sorry.
a spicy meatball. Can we talk about Saphira's backstory?
We can. Do we want to do maybe a
All
cast
right,
one and then
we'll
come
do a
back to
cast
Spirit just so
one.
I'm not...
Okay, so that way Matt can rest his vocal cords.
just
Okay,
not talking
cough
in-
drops?
What
No, I haven't.
happens with Bourage?
Mm.
So, do they kiss?
Oh my god.
This has been my, listen, I'm just gonna say on stream for everybody that I said from the jump.
That's true.
I said from the fucking jump
Yeah, from very early.
that Graven and Bourage are lovers. And then there was a locket.
There is
He can want to kiss Jillian too.
There's
there
a
can be
very-
many kisses.
there is
all
a
the kisses.
very high chance that a very tender hug is the next thing that Graven and Bourage will share.
Oh,
Whether
because-
Through the
because-
prison bars in Leopold's Garrison.
yeah, a conjugal hug. Yes.
You don't know.
I
You
don't
don't know
know.
about a kiss.
I think that
You
maybe
don't have to say about a kiss,
I
but
think that
we want to know about kisses.
I think it would have happened.
You think it
know,
would happen?
maybe I'm saying that whatever happened would just kind of come in the moment.
I am genuinely trying to go back into my text messages from like 2019.
100%. You will find it there. 100%.
But it was definitely
you will also
2019.
find,
One of the
And-
less radical
and I will
theories.
tell one of my less radical. I'll tell you guys later. Throughout the
Listen.
stream, I will tell some people what my other 100% true theories are.
Some connections transcend
Kisses.
sexual desires and memory expulsions, and that again, that was from day one. One of my when Matt and I went over backstory, it was like, this is one of the very few names, I think only name, that made it through. That was like, I remember Bourage.
Oh, and that bastard gave you that name right away. He just left it on a
Oh,
little piece of paper.
very early on. And so when when Erland
Ledger.
famously was like, followed up on that
my
name,
God.
I thought I was like, you know him too. Let's talk.
Oh my
And
God.
juked my boots very, very early
Juked your
on with
boots.
that.
A
Um,
classic Erlen move.
So, there was a very close relationship, and I won't hug and tell.
Oh my god. Well, okay, I will say also, Graven's got like the most ships in all of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
That is definitely
The other one that's in the Discord, you can just say yay or nay. Graven and Erland.
Was there
I'm so.
was there kisses for
think
Graven
so.
and Earl?
Talk to Travis.
I don't think so. There was that one attempt to fist kiss him.
What?
I threw a
to
punch.
him.
Oh,
A fist kiss.
a fist
fist
kiss.
kiss.
Okay. Yes.
Everybody
I'm
knows
still
what a
just so
fist
excited.
kiss
A
is.
kiss
Doing kiss.
with a fist.
That was, I think, the
Kind of like a-
closest.
Like not a kiss on the hand, but
No. No, I think that's the closest that Graven and Erland come to kissing.
Closest thing to love is hate and all that. And
Yes.
Yes.
So, sorry, that was my own Bourage question. Someone very kindly, half-baked, left a really thoughtful question in the chat. That was, I want to believe that Bourage is aware of Graven's possession of the totem, and there is a connection to it. Is that possible? Is it possible that Graven could use some of his favors with Mohan in the future to buy Bourage's freedom? If it can't be done, by the way, if it can't be done that way, how long before Graven tears down the doors of Leopold's garrison? And this is my edit to kiss
or hug.
or hug.
I think there was definitely, if the campaign had gone on, some opportunity for a good old-fashioned prison jailbreak in Leopold's garrison. Because it's kind of, especially because it's like, it's not in a major city. It's so there was more of an opportunity there for that to be a little more chaotic, because like the city guard's not going to come and shut it down. So, and you guys had already snuck in there. You guys had snuck in there once already to fight in the tournament.
Oh yeah.
Even though that guy doesn't super love you guys anymore.
We'll kill him.
Yeah, we'll
Just
Bury him.
murder hobo him.
To answer the other part I forgot about is
The
he
totem,
definitely knows.
yes.
Yeah,
He does know.
I think he almost certainly knows. I think he would be able to tell that someone else had attuned to that totem. He has a very sort of strong spiritual connection to it.
Very cool.
I believe Half-Baked 139 who asked the question
Yes.
put it into physical. They drew a some art of Bourage
him
kind of
like-
smiling,
Yes.
having that
That was
moment of
beautiful.
realization.
That
So
was really
it
beautiful.
is very real, and you helped
Prescient.
make it so. Yes.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
I think certainly, especially as during that point when Graven was almost looking into his memories and being able to like see through his eyes there, like I think he could feel that someone sort of probing his own memories.
No, he's sitting there. He's like, he's definitely on his way. He's
Oh.
going now. I can feel it.
Oh, no.
Every time there's like a.
Wow.
Oh, stop, Matt.
That's awful.
Damn it, you're an asshole.
I
If you
mean,
need something, don't
one of the
hesitate to
like-
scream.
so busy. I mean, one of the very surprising things that I wasn't thinking that would be so affecting was I can't even remember how it came up, but that I think Pockets told me that Bourage was he's like Bourage was always, he thought you were ready, he thought you could do this, he never doubted. Yeah.
And that it was Ayana who was like, wait,
Yeah.
we need to have the perfect moment.
Yep.
Oh,
Bourage was like,
Bourage was like, Graven, we got this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
sitting there in prison like, he better get it.
Better. Okay, so this is for Jordan. A similar theme.
Oh.
Orba. Love was in the air. Did Orba have romantic feelings for Erland?
There was a time
Oh.
where I was dabbling with the idea that, because you know when a character like Orba, so young and so naive,
So young.
always falls for the wrong person.
Yes.
That first
And
that
Erland
first fall.
is the wrong person.
100%. But then I was also trying to figure out, there's no fucking time in our campaigns to
Right.
have lip lock moments. So like, I was trying to figure out if there was
Go
ever
back down.
literally an opportunity to even just like RP explore that, and there just never was. I think there were moments of like expressing affection, which I think is all that she's probably prepared to do.
Yeah.
Because she's been pretty isolated and she's never really known anybody in that way or seen that occur because she was so, holed up at Atonement's End or
Halls.
the other place on that island, the halls.
Yeah.
So
Different island.
it's the same island.
Both on Shashi.
We just wrinkle your brain.
Oh, me too.
Oh.
I did not know.
Atonement's End and the Halls of Transmutation are on the same.
They literally just picked Erland up with a crane and then
Dropped
Popped him in the other place.
just left him.
I will say that I am bad with the maps. I don't know what it looks like. I've never been able to figure out. And I've seen separate maps when I've guessed it in season 1 and season 2. And I've always been like, no idea where I am.
They definitely
know what the
increased in their
continent
level
looks
of
like.
detail for campaign 2. Maybe I'd
I
love
just-
to have someone do a better
I
map
can't
than I
get
can make.
It's just me. I can't get oriented to it. I know the maps are good. Everyone else seems to know where they are. I'm the one who's like, I don't know.
Just
If you're
a
showing-
little.
A little.
If you're showing Shashi though, or does that one have it on it?
Does it have
Does it
Shashi
not?
on it?
It's just south.
This?
The one with the hole in it. Yep,
Oh,
that's it.
jeez.
Oh.
Okay.
That's on the
so
world map too.
This is the.
Oh, yeah.
It's right down here. How am I doing here?
Yeah, yep,
There
yeah.
you
It's
go.
like to the southwest of Ernchu,
Yeah,
across
and
the sea there.
Our travels brought us like starting kind of here. Yep. Here, up the coast, Navikapura mountains, and Finlock there.
Yeah.
And then back down to here.
Yep.
Very
So
cool.
we never touched any of this or anything over
That's
here.
where maybe
And
Orbis
then-
headed next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is that island.
Yes.
What was that? Oh, yeah. Oh, somebody made a joke about Erland commenting on Orba's horns not being fully grown.
Yes.
And every time a player would talk about how young Orba is, I was like, I probably shouldn't push for like a romantic thing because now everybody
Oh.
thinks Orba's like 12 years old.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, 17-year-olds can ask for kisses, bruh.
They can. 17-year-olds
17-year
often
maybe
do.
not me as a 17-year-old.
Not me, 17-year-old, but some confident
You know,
17-year-olds do ask for kisses.
In this like fantasy, brutal world, yes, 17-year-olds. Where am I going with this?
Like you're talking about like a medieval fantasy setting.
But in real life, 17-year-olds
Thrown,
ask for
thrust into maturity
Yeah.
because
course.
of events.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm just saying that it wouldn't have been weird.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying every time people would talk about Orba as though she's so young, that's the reality you
I
gotta
see.
live with.
Yes.
Because she behaves very young.
Okay.
Yes.
So I didn't want to make people uncomfortable.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
That's valid. That's valid.
You have. And so you
And-
have.
Sorry, that took a turn. Okay, doing a bad job as the MC. Let's
on,
keep
Deirdre.
going.
Deirdre,
cut it.
Stop it.
What am I doing?
Oh no.
We're bringing.
We were doing a bit.
Okay, we're doing the bit. Okay. Can you guys give us your best impressions of each other's characters?
Oh no.
This is a tough one, very silly one, but I do think it's worth it.
Oh no. Oh. Jeez. I was just hoping to play some games with all of my friends.
Perfect. Flawless.
Here we go.
Wow.
You're welcome.
That was spot on. I'm so proud.
Oh no.
Yeah, get down there.
Oh, please, Goosey, please help me. Oh, no, please, Daddy Goosey.
Wow, roasted to shit. Wow. You
One
guys-
time, and it really hurt. Damn. Okay. All right. Yes,
Oh,
I did
no.
have a little pleading with him when he was pulling the crap out of my hand. But that was also a good one of the classic, oh please, bizarre.
yeah.
When Erland, that was me.
That's like
That was
truly
me
an-
doing an impression.
That
We
was-
didn't actually.
I think we
say
all
that.
hopped on board, but that wasn't even a memorable moment. It was just something I happened to edit and loop for some other purpose, and then the audio was like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
strange.
I wonder if I still have that.
Is there anybody else that you guys want to do your best impression of
An
NPCs in your?
Quick, everybody, give their best Wadoo. Hello.
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 That's pretty good.
I was a little worried for the physical wind-up, but then it turned.
Hello. This is my shop.
Hello.
He do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who was it that thought his name was Woodle?
That was Leah.
Leah thought his
The
name was
first time.
Woodle.
She says
I
Whittle.
think she thought his name was like Little.
Yeah.
Like, your
Oh.
name's Little?
Hello.
Alright.
Okay, great. Let's keep it
Deirdre-
moving.
hold on.
Oh, I'm required.
You
to
have
do
to
it?
do one.
Yeah,
Okay.
what
Or
the-
both.
Okay, I can do it. Oh, Matthew. That's
I don't even know if any sound came out of it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll come.
Chad, did we hear that?
Oh, Matthew.
Oh,
Matthew?
so sexual.
Remember when literally you're like, oh, Matthew.
I think that was Cheeks. I think when,
It was Cheeks.
But that wasn't Graven. That was
All right, fine. Okay, I'll give a Graven.
Oh, Matthew.
All right, I have to get close to the mic. I'm sorry, this is devolving so fast. Okay. Very well. Was that okay?
That's good. That's not. That's
All right, and Orba, I think I can do a little bit better, but probably not much.
Why are we like anime sexual people? Both Graven and
Graven just goes, oh, and Orba goes,
This is the. Yep. This is the hentai
Oh,
TTN.
no, it's not. Ooh, baby.
I'm so hot.
Okay, so
For so many reasons.
moving right along, can we talk about Saphira's backstory?
Yes.
let's talk about
And
Saphira.
possible future.
Would you like to do a parody of, or would you like to do your impression of Saphira?
No, I wouldn't like to do an impression of anybody at this point because it's not going to be good. It's going to be bad.
Is there anybody you can do an impression of that's been a guest or a PC?
Well, we had that, there was a moment where you were
Oh.
running late to the stream, and it was you, me, and the brothers Il
Yes.
Ego.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, Orbis obviously has disappeared,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have to address her, like, try not to make her the focus of the scene, given that, like, I will have to be speaking from her. So
you were
I was
ready.
like, it's pretty cute, like, Orba, I'm in the chamber, we're gonna get the guy out.
Damn it!
Wow, I wish they directed more questions at Orba.
Yeah.
The-
Missed opportunity.
That was pretty
Did
good.
you not do a very quick Graven at one point when I was like returning to the company? Didn't you do like one line as me?
You did a Graven
Yes.
when he used Not Disguise Self, the better one.
Oh, the other
Yes,
the
the-
NPC
yeah.
was like, how's this?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
yeah. What'd
Segra.
you say?
Segra.
Segra, yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? I can't remember what that's
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
Alter self.
Very, very fun.
But yeah, he did a pretty good Graven.
Pretty good Graven.
I remember being touched in a way I won't explain.
Oh no. People want people to do Herringbone and David's impressions.
Oh, amazing.
Okay.
It's all about the physical.
You got, it's really good for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I swim real good.
Nice.
That is good. That's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Get it away from me.
Yeah. Okay, herringbone. I don't know. I just
Look, the guy's name was Dick Whispers.
I mean, yeah.
I come down along here to see Spud, and we usually just hang out.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
What else does David say? Get the phone away from me.
Well, he did. Did I swim really good?
swim really
Yeah,
good.
he did
You
get
can
the
do it.
fuck
Get away from me. You got
Shut up.
Nobody look at her.
Don't even.
Okay, nobody look.
No, that makes it worse.
Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I did it.
Well done. Well done.
Oh man.
Okay.
What can you tell us about Saphira, please?
Oh, we keep. I'm
Yeah, I know.
sorry.
Yeah,
We keep getting so distracted.
So Saphira, unlike Erland, I think we had a pretty good trajectory for her, at least like campaign plot wise. Like there was the boat, and that was, we talked about that at the end of the last episode. This ship that was going to intercept a massive shipment of myconid extract to the other continent. I think there was more stuff to be found out about her connection to animal spirits and her bow in general. Her teacher was Wachi Faro, who, as a member of that Bloodhawk infantry that came up a couple times, they had this very, very strong sort of nature connection, and that would come into play as a way not just to kind of call upon animal spirits, but also spirits of Bloodhawk infantry members past.
cool.
That on the ship at some point maybe she would be able to bring forth some spirits of a time gone by.
Oh, that's super cool.
Sweet.
So yeah, but I mean, we got certainly information-wise, I think we knew where Saphira's story was headed. After the ship, I mean, I think on the ship, and you know, if that mission was successful, also if the ship wasn't fully destroyed, being able to get on that ship and pick around the information there, see who they were shipping that stuff to, maybe manifests where it was like, after this shipment, we've got other stuff coming to here, here, and here. Like if she almost could have been provided with like a map of like spots to hit. Like this thing where it's like, we're shipping stuff
so
to
cool.
here, here, and here, and she can be like, I'm headed to those places and we're gonna shut it down.
That's so cool.
Wait up.
I mean, Jillian would have been all about that. So yeah, I think it was very much connected to. I think she had a more direct route to keeping myconid trade here in Antisuyu rather than letting it spread across the world.
That's so cool. Do we have any info? I feel like Saphira is the one we have sort of the least amount of backstory on. Is there anything you'd share that, you know, we know or no?
There were some questions about like the Stitchers.
Yeah.
And what your plans were for that faction of people.
Yeah, I think the Stitchers weren't necessarily a Saphira storyline, but there's a lot of threads that kind of came and went, and we weren't sure if they were going to get picked up. I can talk a little bit about the Stitchers. The idea with them is that they're an alliance between Gentle Void people and Broken Crown people, or ex-people of both organizations.
Which we were kind of on.
Yeah, you were onto that. But the plan was to, as you briefly heard someone say, like, stitch the continent back together. That in the wake of the War of Giants, all of these cities became very much independent operating sort of regions and developments. And that their hope was to bring the continent back together, not under one rule like a new emperor, but certainly as like a central organized thing. And something that you guys heard way back that you wouldn't necessarily remember because it didn't come up again, I think you heard there was some disgruntled Broken Crown people who felt that their role post-war was diminished, that they had this job of like mediating disputes between cities and acting as a kind of middleman, and they had these checkpoints and things, and that some of the higher ranking Broken Crown people believed that they should have sort of had a bigger influence or power when the continent kind of separated. That all these little pockets of Broken Crown people in the major cities should have had more say, that they should have. So there's a certainly lingering sentiment of a lot of people in the Broken Crown that like, what did we fight for if not to make sure that like, not that we're in control, but that we get to say what you kind of can't do because they don't want, history to just repeat itself. So the idea with the Stitchers being like, hey, we screwed up by not making an effort immediately to like make a coalition of cities of anti-CU. There was more Stitchers stuff, and that stuff that you guys found in the Broken Crown outpost in the little puzzle room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That they were using that to blackmail influential figures of the continent to either fund them or look the other way while they did stuff. Because there were some juicy morsels of blackmail.
We didn't even find out what that third one was.
What was the third one?
We got the egg and the adoption
which one did you guys
papers.
guess?
The egg, which was the message, the papers. The first one, wasn't it one?
It was
that
a
one
letter.
where we could read the first page of it and we didn't.
Yeah, wasn't it a letter from someone to someone?
Yes, I'd have to go back and look. There was another sort of, I think the note had something to do with like a major sort of payment that fell into the wrong hands, but I'd have to go. But all of the pieces were like sensitive information that could be used to blackmail people. That's what they were all sort of for.
Very cool.
And we already asked this because we just couldn't help ourselves after last week's episode, but do we know, would Graven and Orba have heard the name of the leader of the Stitchers that has inspired these people to behave the way they do every time we encounter them?
No, we hadn't, you guys had not met or heard of. That was a new character to be introduced.
Where were they based out of?
Nowhere, they're all over the place. I think
The person.
part of the...
Yeah, the person, not the faction.
Oh,
Where
Where
was
was
the person?
was the leader in a specific
Oh,
spot?
no, not necessarily. There was an opportunity to, not that in this campaign, but going forward, that Lieutenant Colonel Massif would have been a good source of information, because as you guys picked up more and more pieces, he might have been the one to help you suss out who in the Broken Crown might be a turncoat.
Because he, like Josko, was like a retired member of that
Yeah,
faction, but
just
with
when they got
some
out, they
connections.
pulled me back in.
Yeah.
There's no retirement in anti-CU.
No.
That is what
Yes,
we've
pretty
gathered
difficult.
from this.
Pretty difficult.
You can retire from being a cleric, though. But you need a lot of help.
You need a lot of help. This question is for me.
Oh!
Guess
I
it.
have something.
want me to ask?
Yeah, I was
You
about
do?
to say. Yeah, do you
Oh
want me to
yeah,
ask you a
hit me
question?
with the question.
Okay. Hold on. Oh, okay. I really like this one. This is from Half Baked. What do you think Jaywa has been up to back in Aranchupa?
That is such a good question.
Such a
I
good
want to know what
question.
Matt thinks Jaywa's been up to, because he did ask me. Hold on, brief. I have a note here, so just to fill you guys in. Jaywa was like episode 10, right? Very early, and Jordan had emailed me and was like, do you want to do it? And then I was like, yeah, I'm in. And then they were like, what do you want? Do you guys remember this? What do you want to do? Like, is there any kind of class you want to play?
Oh, yeah, he
or
doesn't let
anything
me
like
read those
this?
emails. I don't know what you wrote.
Okay,
Oh, no.
get ready. This was 4 years ago. I said, hey, Matt, I can't wait to see what you come up with. My only thing is I want to be tall. Taller than I am in real life. And I want to be hot, which is dumb, but that's what I want. And I don't want to be a damsel in distress. Other than that, I give you free reign on everything else. I can actually be anything you want me to be as long as I'm not short and I'm hot and proficient.
Short, hot.
Short, hot,
Or, no,
proficient.
tall,
Not
hot,
tall, hot, and
proficient.
proficient. And that's what I was given was Jawa. So I think that Jawa definitely did a
Got
little...
taller,
Got
got
taller. Hotter. And more proficient. I think that she also... I think she killed that guy. I think she killed Carradine. Not necessarily on purpose, but for sure because it's
Pushed it a
hard
little
to
too far.
it's hard to do that non-lethal stuff in this world, as we've all found out.
Roll right now. Roll.
Oh, roll right now
See what you
for
get
whether
on
or
it.
not I killed Carradine.
Yeah.
You gotta get a
You gotta
8
get
or
like a
higher.
8
8 or higher? Okay. A
Oh.
20! Oh my
Natural
god.
20.
Okay, I didn't kill him then.
Maybe he's alive.
Maybe he's alive.
She brought him back
He's
to
still
life
in the basement.
and then-
I brought him back to life.
Oh,
He's
just
still
to kill him.
there. Yeah.
2 months.
My little friend.
I genuinely don't know, but I do. I would love to know more about the Orange Chupa gang. There was some crazy shit happening down there.
Yeah. I'd like to think that after Jawa kind of got, because she used to be kind of involved with Polnick,
Yeah.
and I think that there was an opportunity after interacting with the party to like feel that itch to be like involved again. Like she'd
Yeah.
kind of been like, I'm taking a step away from like all these politics and all this but that in that moment it was a little like, oh, like I was able to do something, like I was able to influence, and that maybe she kind of got herself back involved in some of the bigger dealings in Chupa,
Yes.
especially in the absence of Fusard, who died.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I remember thinking about and reading some conspiracy theories that Fusard wasn't actually dead.
There was
Yeah.
a very
Oh,
popular,
yes.
Yeah.
even in our group,
Yeah.
and I think Erland especially
Oh,
was
yeah.
convinced that Fusard. No, he
was
died.
dead.
He
Yeah.
died.
He was dead.
Because I think the idea was like, oh, how would that powerful guy die to just an Ankeg? But it wasn't just the Ankeg down there. Like
Yeah.
there
Right,
was
right.
Gentle Void. Like there was a pocket down there. We called
Yeah.
them those pockets that were down there. So yeah, he didn't die to some crappy little Ankeg.
Another question for you.
Yeah.
Because this is always a crowd favorite. How did you meet everyone? How did they bring up D&D to you? Which you also kind of already answered, and then ask you on the show.
Yeah, so I met everyone because Jordan and I are on an improv team together, and we met at a popular improv school that shall not be named, but easy to figure out if you Google improv schools in New York. Yeah, that's how. So Jordan asked me to guest back in the day, and I was like, hell yeah.
And was that before? Because you play now in a campaign.
I do play now in a campaign.
Is
yes.
had that started or was that?
No, that was well before. I had played D&D once before, with a bunch of improv friends as well, and that was super fun. And then, but really, Jawa was like my basically second time ever playing D&D, and it was a blast. So
I always make fun of it because it's
yes,
so funny.
You can tell me, you can drag me on stream, do it.
I'm gonna drag it because I think it proves a wonderful point. Where when we were first making the show,
Yes.
and I was seeing Deirdre for something else, I was starting to talk about the show, and I was like, "Yeah, you can like watch it on Twitch." And she goes, "I am not watching that." And I was like, "Cool, that's also fine." And then we
Look at you now.
And
bitch.
look at me now, hosting, emceeing Dungeons and Dragons.
But it just goes to show you
it
that
does.
Dungeons and Dragons is delightful. It's
magical.
It is magical, and
swept up.
it
We're
also
gonna tell
proves
you
that
all that.
I'm a whiny little bitch.
No, it doesn't.
I also, people in chat are asking, and I think this is a really good point. Who's taller, Jawa or Orba? It's obviously Jawa, but we can roll to see if it's.
I mean, I'm always down for rollies.
Yeah, when her horns are fully grown in.
What are we rolling?
I guess who wins? Whoever's higher?
A flat,
Sure.
a flat
Just a flat
D20.
D20?
D20 it.
I'll use my new one.
Ooh.
Shouldn't use my dice.
I
Should
shouldn't
have
use your
saved
dice.
that nat
I
20
really
that you
should've.
had earlier.
11.
Orba's taller. I'm really mad about that. I got a 4.
A lot of things are being set in stone on this
I know.
stream.
It's canon though. We already said
Graven's
it,
6
so.
inches shorter than Rumik. That just makes, because you have an established height. That doesn't make you small. That just makes
it
Rumik
him
humongous.
gigantic. He's like
Very,
almost
very
8 feet
tall.
tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Great.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You have another one for me?
I can.
It's
What
not
was
for you.
your
It's not for
question?
you. Slowly roll.
Just another.
I'm-
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about David the Capybara for folks who we didn't even really talk about it. Getting ready for Deirdre's most recent guest spot as Harriet
Yes.
was a very hectic one. There was a lot going on. Plus,
Was.
you had literally just flown in from Scotland,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
literally came
From
straight from
the
the airport.
Yes, I
And our
came
apartment was about to flood.
directly from the airport. They were like throwing buckets of water out in the backyard. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So the question was David the Capybara Deirdre's idea?
The name, I named him, but Matt wrote on, and I know this is different for people, but when you're a guest, and I think when you were main cast, Matt basically shapes the character and gives you your character. Certainly as a guest, you get handed a character sheet. And so he asked, like, what have you played before? And I was like, I'm a ranger in my current campaign. And so there you go. And he told me that I have a, mythical beast that's a giant capybara. And I was like, I'm going to name that little guy. And I was between two names, and I was jet lagged, and David was the one that came out of my mouth. So he was David. But
What was the other one?
I think it was Maureen.
Maureen.
Oh,
Which I think would have been a good one.
it was Maureen the Capybara.
Ah, Maureen. Get the fuck away from me.
They still have a southern accent.
They're the same vibe.
I remember the voice just happened in the moment because I don't know why, but I was like, I didn't think that we were gonna talk to David the Capybara.
I didn't either. I didn't think we were going to talk to David.
I guess,
I
like,
don't
of
know
course
why.
I knew Saphira had that spell, but in my head, like, there's other ways. When you have like a companion or something, it's like a summon of some kind, and it's magical, and you wouldn't be able to speak to that. You can't speak to like a summoned creature, or maybe you can in some instances. But sometimes if it's magical, you can't do that. But when it's the sort of Beastmaster class that you were, that's just a straight up like animal. So yeah, so I don't know why I didn't think of that, but that just happened that way, and because you had a southern accent, I had David have a southern accent, and that's
That was just improv, guys. That was just
And so
vibing
was
it out.
Dick Whispers.
So is Dick Whispers, yeah. If you guys are curious about Dick Whispers, that was, I had written down Dirk Whispers, and again, I was jet lagged, so I said Dick Whispers, and then I pretended to check my sheet.
You did. You put it on the show.
Because I was trying to fuck with my friends. So most of me being a guest actually has just been like, how can I fuck with these guys?
Yeah. So when you were first a guest, we still rigged you pretty hard.
Oh my God.
Were you like ready to go as guest number 2?
No, I will actually say as guest number 2, I was like, I'm not gonna be, because Jawa was a little salty, but
We threw
Leah,
some more salt back than she came.
Yeah, I think Leo was like, so what do you do here? And I was like, what do you do here? I live here, was my impression. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna be like real chill. Like a little suspicious because you guys are in Spud's home, and then you were like, we have all of his gold, and also immediately started
All of his
interrogating me,
gold.
and I was like, no. So no, I wasn't prepared. I was actually like, mentally, I was like, I'm gonna make a different choice and be like pretty friendly, and then we were slightly adversarial the whole time. But
I'm shocked. I was like, oh, Deirdre's gonna come in, and I think you did it, but like, she's gonna know we're gonna assault her with questions and be super untrusting.
I think it had been so many years that I was like, I bet they're gonna be better. I bet they're gonna be better.
They're gonna be so nice to me this time around.
Like, like she's here and she's clearly buddies with Spud, so like
We
they're
couldn't
gonna be
even
better.
trust Eric, the
No.
second character, which
I
was
know.
literally a ghost summoned.
A ghost
to
whose
protect-
only purpose was
Purpose.
to
Help you.
summon
Yeah.
the-
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's funny.
it
I'm
was
surprised.
pretty funny. Yeah, I probably should have been prepared, but I wasn't. So
That's very funny.
there you go.
I think something else, just to go back a little bit also about kind of backstories and stuff. We had a lot of people who had never played before, who had
Right.
extremely limited experience. So in some ways, a lot of times I wanted to just take that pressure off to have to kind of create a ton of stuff. I always tried to ask people like, is there something you want to play? Is there something you don't want to play? But I think I will say going into campaign 2, there will be more like not the like I have to fit all the pieces together, but opportunities to craft your own backstories a little bit. Because when we did it originally, I think a lot of people just didn't know what to expect. So, you guys tossed a couple ideas my way, but I wrote the majority of that. But I think there will be more opportunity to add your own flavor to those.
I will say, sorry,
No, go
I
ahead.
will say that as a guest, it feels very nice. And I think because people come back, like everybody came from an acting background, that coming in with a character sheet and being like, these are your sort of given circumstances, was like, cool, I can like roll with that. So coming in as a guest and being like, this is the deal, like here's the constructs, and then you get to just play within that, feels really good, you know?
Especially for some of those early like one episode
Oh my
guest starts.
gosh,
Like
yeah.
the idea of being like, hey, yeah, you want to come on for an episode? Cool. Write a backstory and then you're gonna come on for one
Right.
episode. Like, oof.
And not even be there at the top of the show. Like,
Yeah.
Wait to
Like that's a tall order.
Yeah, so it feels nice. Sorry, Jordan, what were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say also, I wrote like a very brief Orba backstory, basically just being like, oh, I escaped the halls, I'm a servant, this is where I'm going, and that was it. And I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna, hang out, have no worries, I'm just working on getting to this one place. And then he gives me like Avatar type goals by the end of the campaign where I was like, Jesus Christ.
Just
not.
get to the play.
That's literally, I was like, oh, I'll be in the by like chapter 15. Like, how old are you gonna be?
All right, see, it's 8:30. We're gonna bang on a couple more. What else
Okay.
we got here?
Oh, I was gonna say, do you want to do a lightning
Yes,
round?
let's do
Oh,
some lightning
sure.
rounds.
We can do a
Okay,
lightning.
hold on. Let's pull up the Discord.
I'm pulling it up right now. Okay, lightning round. Sexy baby plan. Will we ever see a sexy baby plan happen in a future campaign?
I think the chances are very high.
I think
Yeah.
they're very high as well.
The
Knowing-
plan, you've only had time to refine it since then.
Oh my
to
God.
think of all
True.
the. Yeah.
We're adding nothing. We're keeping it exactly as we planned,
Yeah.
where it's a sexy baby.
Carrying bags of gold.
Yeah, tossing it in the air.
It was a good plan.
We'll have Deirdre
It hits
voice
all the marks.
Yes.
If they care about babies and like protecting infants, boom. If they care about sex, boom. If they care about money, boom. Like it's flawless.
Literally, no notes.
All
Okay,
right,
okay,
yeah,
lightning
sorry.
round,
Here we go,
lightning
here we
round.
go, here we go.
Where good food?
Up.
Okay.
Next one.
Additional GMs. Will we ever see Jordan or Anthony step in front of the solo camera to run a game of Tabletop Notch, either D&D or otherwise? Is that something you guys have any interest in doing? Jordan looks like no, but
I mean, I was gonna say a non-zero amount, but probably low. That's
That's what
my
I'm feeling too.
Yeah.
I've been very curious. I probably wouldn't write one. I would probably do some kind of like mod or something. Because although those seem also equally as overwhelming because you have to like be pretty familiar with it and it's nothing that's like embedded in your own imagination because you made it. You just have to like really have a good memory for that kind of thing, and I don't think I would.
See, the way that you're talking about it makes you think that you'd be like
be very
maybe
good at it.
no, where you're like, oh, I have to do it by this book, or at least that's how
Oh,
I.
yeah,
and,
that's
like,
true. I don't have to
like
do that.
if I make something up, somebody's gonna
Someone's
judge
gonna
me
know,
for that,
yeah.
or they're gonna know.
Well,
and I'd
streaming
be
it maybe,
too-
yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, okay.
And then Stram
Maybe.
shows up. Do you mean straw?
No,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Dick whispers. It's canon now.
Well, and I can't remember if I've said this on a previous Tabletop Talks or just talking with you guys. If I ever ran a campaign, I wouldn't be able to keep my goddamn mouth shut like Matt does. If somebody was like, "Come on, tell us about this," I'd be like, "Okay, okay." So you're gonna find out that that's not actually the problem. The real problem. Yes. No, terrible.
I think maybe for a one shot or something fun. It's hard to coordinate. I mean, mainly just because it's already a lot of work. But yeah, a fun one shot. I think where we mix it up, that'd be great. Next one.
Did Herringbone use the Betterment Bauble right away? Did she sell the broken one? What stat would Herringbone improve?
Okay, so she should improve her well, oh my god, what was it? Constitution.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the one because she's -2 on that. Very
my
cursed.
God.
You're
But you can't be
-2
can't be
con?
double cursed. Yeah. Yeah, it was -2, wasn't it?
I thought it was -1, but maybe you're right. I honestly
Because it
don't
was
know.
lower than Erlin's and he's -1, right?
Oh my god.
Well,
Yeah.
he was 0 now.
Yes.
Well-
it was -1. They became 0.
You would give another character negative constitution.
She's cursed.
She's cursed, and
Oh,
she
yeah,
uses
she's
he uses David as her sort of meat shield.
Yeah, make
What was
shield.
the percentile
So-
die to use the broken one?
Oh yeah, did you have something like prepped for if we tried it?
I would have sold.
It
the
was
broken
already
one.
on the card.
Yeah,
I
it
would
was
have
like
for
a
sure
threshold.
sold the broken one was my plan, but I could still roll to see it because again, can't be double cursed.
No.
Is a motto.
I was gonna have you roll this
I'll roll
percentile.
it.
We'll find the card.
Let's say it's a
yeah.
33 or below, and it fucks you.
I think it's even lower than
Oh, 87.
Whoa.
Not cursed.
So you would have gotten another.
Oh wait,
No.
As in you'd have to get like 90 or higher.
I think it was even higher. I think it was like 95 or higher. If you'd used another one.
Crap. Oh
can't
yeah, that
remember
wasn't even
exactly.
about the broken one. I see.
Yeah, that wasn't the
Yeah,
broken
yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah.
That was if you try to
Just
use
used
two
the
at all.
second one. Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay, here we
So
go.
you're fucked.
Matt,
Yes.
what's in the stew?
A little bit of onion.
That's literally it. It was just onion stew
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, nice.
a little bit of onion.
Let's do it.
Wow,
Hot ham
wow.
water.
Yeah.
It was hot ham water.
What
Okay, next one.
What's Scooter the Astute up to? Does Scooter open up a college?
No, Scooter, now that as he did, he went from the Ackley Grove, came up north to oversee the peninsula. Things seem to be going okay there, so I think he's going west towards Nolan Woods. Nolan's Woods.
Oh my god, do you see what you just did to that man?
Oh no.
Scooter goes around, finds sort of natural areas that are in distress, and he tries to fix it.
Oh my
So
god.
that's where he's off
Down
to.
in Nolan's Woods. All right, next one. Cheeks, what's his deal? Was he always going to be as much of a horny weirdo, or was Matt egged on by Anthony Graven's discomfort? What's he like when he's off the clock? Just a normal guy who uses the persona to put people off and get better deals? Does he change out of his sheer robe at the end of the day, Mr. Rogers style, and go home to a loving family?
Mr. Cheeks,
that.
what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
With
love
Cody
that.
Cheeks.
He was always
He's not putting on a show. He's in Kukati Cove. They stand on no airs there. He lives his life. He lives right by the ocean, the sheer robe, the nice breeze between the cheeks.
Oh.
A peek between the cheeks.
Oh,
Campaign
no.
2's title.
I hate
We're announcing it now. Okay, north and down. How and why is every direction north? Do you know what direction down is?
Wait, what?
That's when Erland thought that you know.
That's into
Oh,
the water.
yeah, into the water. Yes.
Water.
Yes.
We had some map. Again,
Issues.
hopefully we'll have a map that's more
Really?
helpful for direction-related things.
Still one of my favorite burns from Graven. Into the water. Okay. Oh, I had it. Shit. Where was it? Oh, Genie and the Mask. Do the genies ever show up to find the mask Orba took?
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh
They gotta go get their shit.
Who gets
Although
fucked?
now,
They
so-
were after me. They were after Graven because Graven was the one that got the curse.
No, but I stole.
but she
something.
stole the mask.
But they don't know who stole it.
No, but they're trying to find who stole it.
They'll figure it out. They're the genies.
Right now, Palomar's got it.
Oh,
Fresh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
And he's totally gonna tattle.
Definitely gonna tattle.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
More?
helping Deirdre
Yeah,
out
yeah,
with
yeah.
lightning rounds.
Okay.
Go.
So sorry. What are Orba, Graven, Jillian Herringbone's favorite foods and favorite hobby? Cheese.
Hobby?
Oh, hobby?
Hobby.
Gambling.
Gambling.
Cheese
yeah.
and gambling?
Yep.
Gambling.
Herringbone is definitely romping and hardtack.
Juicy meats.
You are really not making a case for just wanting to hug Bourage, man.
Juicy meats.
Juicy meats and
Tasty treats.
treats. Hobbies? I mean, that was the thing about Gray. He doesn't have goddamn hobbies.
Oh, what
His
does he
hobby
wanna
was
find
like
out?
following orders and killing.
He's got a new hobby now. What would he like to do?
Now
Oh, yeah.
he likes to do like punching trees and push-ups and stuff.
And pugilism, sporting pugilism.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. What's Jillian's favorite food and hobby?
Jillian's favorite food is something she can take on the road. Gorp.
Gorp. Oh
Some
my
good old
God.
raisins and peanuts, like some trail mix.
She's got a big old sack of it at all times.
Always got a
That's
sack of gorp.
amazing.
Comes into a new town. I need to research Gorp.
Got any race?
You roll a perception check and you can hear like gorp spilling out of her pockets.
Yeah. All right. And hobbies?
And hobbies. Like Graven, she's very career-oriented, if you can call it that. But I think on her days off, because she spends a lot of time at Finlock Forest, I think some beach activity, sailing or surfing in the ocean there. surfing off the coasts of Finlock Forest. That seems like a very Jillian activity.
Oh, confirmed. Wiki says Herringbone was 6 con.
Yeah.
You were a -2.
Shit.
She was
Jesus.
cursed.
Although you would have only gotten 1 point, so if it was 6, you would have only been 7, so it would still be -2, right?
Yeah.
She would
Damn.
have done it, hopefully.
Can't be double cursed.
Yeah, can't be double cursed.
Damn. All right.
Okay, wow,
Okay.
we got lots more to go.
We do.
Keep rolling them questions in. We'll try to keep track of stuff. We're gonna take a quick break per usual. Enjoy the BRBs.
Oh yes, we did a special BRB.
Oh, yeah, there's-
We
oh my
think
God,
it's
yeah,
just
I
a
forgot about
montage of the crowd favorites this evening. So there's duplicates of some
Some
we think
duplicates.
everybody really loves. And just a little insider note: if you want to see one that's real cute, watch the last one. Like get back after like 12 minutes.
Okay.
Come back after like 12 minutes. And
Yeah.
there's a really cute one.
Okay.
You'll know when you
And
see
it's
it.
like 3 minutes long.
No, I
Oh,
just
okay. Never mind.
sometimes I don't make them a full 15. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Come on.
But yeah, there's sprinkled in a little something extra today.
Just a little cute.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll continue to answer questions, and we'll hopefully hit as many as we can.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Awesome. All right, we'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye, guys.
Spud appreciates, likes, and subscribes. Spud also reads all the comments. Make Spud feel less lonely. Come play a game with Spud, please.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the cozy half of Tabletop Talks. We're slumber party here in TTN Studios. We hope you enjoyed the break and Graven's glorious victory atop the Almirage.
Graven wins.
Once again,
Strong.
a special shout out to Apokadoko for
thank
his
you.
adorable art of which I am now wearing.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, when we
cool.
first asked Apokadoko to make some of the owlbears for the race, he just sent us an adorable Graven riding an Almirage.
Been
as a
sitting on that
surprise.
for months.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
I
No,
know,
we were
great.
like, when will be a fun time to use that?
Wow.
Finally found some time to toss him in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll put you in the actual race, and you'll just be like bouncing nimbly bimbly
Tree to tree.
from tree to
Yeah.
tree.
From tree to tree.
So everybody give some love to Apokadoko.
Yay.
So good. Shall we jump right back in?
Yeah.
Shall we?
I
Let's
have
do it.
to, just for me personally, because this stream is about me. I need to retcon that I am the one who came up with David. Steven Chakowski, who plays Sasha Ovigo, pointed out to me that he is actually the one on the plane. He told me that David was a good name, and it was on my list of names, my short list of names, and David is what came out of my mouth.
David
So
made the short list.
I do need to correct that on stream, that it was Steven who did that, and that hurts me a little. But it is
We,
the truth. So there you go, Sasha Elvigo.
Always credit where credit's due here on
Yep.
TTN.
We have to. We have to. I also wanted to see if I could attempt the voices.
Oh,
one
you
more
wanna do it
time,
again?
You
because
didn't feel good about
it did not feel good. It didn't feel good, and I think the fans need more.
Okay.
Who are you
Thank
giving
Yes,
us?
I am a very humble MC. Okay, so here goes Orba first. Oh, Graven, can't we play a little dice game? Come on, it'd be so fun. I have lots of gold. That's good. Okay,
Good?
there we go. See, I do have it in
Okay.
me. I just got flustered. Okay, and here's Graven. I'm Graven. gotta keep working on that. I'm Craven. I gotta work on that. It's like I'm Batman, basically, is what I'm doing, and that's not really what Anthony
Craven usually
does.
sneezes it out too.
Okay, so now I'll get on to my real job, which is asking questions. This is from Duday. Any particular monsters you wish you could have fought or brought to the battlefield when Peak ran its course? A follow-up. This is a part 2. Will myconid mutants and chimeras / other homebrew foes see the light of day as stat blocks?
Stat block question first.
It could, if there was interest in that. I mean, specifically the myconid poison chimera, I made a detailed stat block for because it had a lot of special abilities, and I wanted to make sure that I remembered all of them and sort of utilized them. So that one, it was just for me, but I did actually like make out a thing for it. So that one could probably be posted. The mutants are tough because I guess you could do kind of some of the monsters in the various source books will have like variants, because that's what the myconid mutants would be. They're not all the same. They have different powers. Some of them have summoning tree thing powers. Some of them have shooting spine powers. Some of them have, so yeah, you could kind of like roll to see which powers the mutant has if you were kind of popping it up randomly in your campaign. So definitely a possibility. Monsters that you wished you had seen, or that you
Well, we saw the head of the displacer beast. And that's like a classic that I thought that we were going to at one point come up against. That would have been cool.
There was also mention of the Bodak in Nolan's Woods.
Yes.
I was very curious about the Bodak.
We came across a vampire spawn, which I because
Oh
that
my
was
God,
that was one of the
yes.
things that Matt and I had talked about in backstory talk. With that vampire spawn was one of the things that Graven was like, maybe not well versed, but had come across and had fought before. As one of
I
creatures
did
of the
not.
dark, and Graven is
creature of the dark and a kind of an undead creature, like that was Kuzni's bread and butter.
Yes.
Vampire spawn left and right. Because vampire, period, full stop, are like very powerful spawns. Yeah, I definitely thought we would maybe come up against one of them. I mean,
We were just commenting on how we somehow encountered owlbears 3 different times and never
owlbear.
harmed one.
Managed to not harm an owlbear, even though
because they're so cuddly sweet. And when they walk away, you watch their big tukuses go boom, 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 boom.
Friend-shaped owlbear.
yeah,
If
owlbear.
not
in there.
friend, why
Why
friend-shaped? I would say, yeah, there was things that I thought or I would like. Again, Matt, our wonderful DM, was always like adjusting things and making things out of other things that, you know, we never wanted for interesting creatures.
I remember after the Cold Light Walker fight, I looked up just the general Cold Light Walker
Vanilla.
stat, and I was like, what the
Oh, they suck. They're the worst. They're lame and they kind of just don't do much.
I can't see.
Yeah. So he was pretty juiced. He was pretty powered
It was
up
pretty
in a
juiced
big
for
way.
sure. I wish you guys would have fought a dragon. I think a dragon
A titular dragon.
I think a
Okay.
dragon
I mean-
would have been fun.
I guess, are there dragons in Anti-Suyu?
Yes, they're very rare. Seldom seen.
Okay.
Sure.
Seen more in the Tunkuri-Kwalu Mountains,
Oh,
up to the northwest.
Maybe
there.
in the Underdark?
An Underdark dragon, perhaps. I don't know.
I mean, I see Graven and Orba on the top of that Underdark mountain, like.
I can't wait to see something in the Underdark in our campaign, because I feel like it's gonna be so fucking cool.
But yeah, those are. Oh, Bodak, that was a good pull. Yeah, some of those monsters that were sort of mentioned. I think the Bodak has like a death gaze where it can just be like, you're dead. now.
Oh shit!
Seriously?
Yeah,
if you
fail a save, it just like kills you
Oh
or
my
drops you
God.
to 0
What's the
hit
save?
points. I think it's a wisdom saving
Yeah,
throw.
let's
I
find
might
out.
be making that up.
Go on.
14?
14. Keep talking.
Or
I'll find out.
Okay, well, let's find out. Let's find out.
I mean, do you have any modifiers?
I added.
I think that was.
Yeah.
was
Oh no!
I know my stats.
Yeah, I probably failed that one.
Oh no!
Speaking of, can I assist you?
Yes,
in a
you can
question
assist in here.
As he stalls.
it was a con saving throw.
Oh, so 13.
You just saved.
So what happens if you fail?
If the saving throw, well, so if the saving throw fails by 5 or more, the creature is reduced to 0 hit points. So just
Okay.
otherwise you take a bunch of damage.
Got it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
But like a bunch of damage. So for a wizard, you'd probably go down anyway.
Yeah,
with
you
no
probably
con.
do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it can just like knock you out instantly.
Damn.
I don't need to stall anymore, so you can.
That would not have been a good fight for Harriet, who has a
Oh,
-2
God.
constitution.
Harriet would go
Roll.
Like an
Roll
18.
right now.
down. Oh, let's see.
Nine.
You wouldn't have instantly gone down, but it would have been
But
close.
it would have been close. Okay, so campaign notes. This one is for Matt. While we've heard, this is also from Duday, we've heard Matt talk about his prep a little bit, and we've seen the player's notes, drawings, and binders here. And throughout the years, what is, in your personal experience and preference, the best way to gather and compile and organize your information both as a DM and a player? I like to write out disjointed notes and unhinged theories as they come up and rewrite them over the week as I have time to pore over them, but I'd like to hear everybody's method. So this is sort of a D&D advice question, and I think mostly for Matt, but also for players.
I mean, that's a great strategy. Jot things down. I think always just jot things down that seem important to you, and then later you can categorize them. Sometimes things seem important in the moment, and then later they don't seem so important. I mean, I use, and this is no particular plug for this program, I know there's other ones, I use OneNote, and what I like about that is it's very searchable, so I can just do, Control F and type in a character, like an NPC's name, and see the last time that the group interacted with them. And also you can like link pages to other pages, so if I'm like, oh, if the group comes into contact with this NPC, here's the last time they saw him, and I can link to, the page previously. So that just helps me hop around easily to the information that I have. But honestly, whatever works for you. Some people are better at kind of remembering and winging it. Some people are better at, organizing their notes and stuff. But
Not after 155 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we showed our hand in that last episode last week where we could not come up with this thing. So I, at one point, moved over to digital notes and used OneNote as well, and was able to just literally put in the search bar that name, and I was like, no, I think I put in the name of this. I put in Vern.
Yeah.
Vern, yeah.
And that led me to that name and why what she was connected to it there. So that was very useful for me as well because during I have like a live note section that's very scribbly, and then during the week I'll go back and like type up the pertinent stuff and add to that, and that was where that came from, was one of the typed up ones. But yeah,
Got yourselves a little bit of orichalcum for it.
oh,
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Chad must have been so mad at us. I couldn't even bear to look at it.
Do you have any notes?
Do you have any
tips,
notes
tricks?
tips for people?
Oh.
What's your?
I mean, I'm crazy anal about my notes, so I don't know if
They're
other
pretty
people
sweet.
do this. But so during the actual thing, my notes are kind of messy, and I hate that. But it's usually color coded. I have many different colored pens.
insane.
So like,
No
important
way.
names are red, locations are green, normal notes are blue, like shit like that. And then usually at the end of like,
And
time
you do that
where-
live, like as you're playing, you also switch the different colored pens?
Yeah.
You're nuts. Oh my god.
Didn't
I
help
love
me
that.
in the work outcome situation.
It's hard.
And then I'll usually go and I after we leave a city or stuff, which is why actually season 2 was really tricky because I try to categorize people by location. So every time we leave a place, I'll then write every NPC name down and do like a quick little thing about who they were and why we were seeing them, so that season 1 I could just easily be like, oh, that person, got it. But the season 2, because we were always on the road, it was hard for me to like remember people by the location, so I kind of fell to the wayside a little bit. But that's usually what I would do.
The notes are pretty. Those are
Yeah, they're so pretty.
Those are
Pretty
aesthetically
notes.
pleasing notes.
Yeah.
But hey, some people are just run and gun note
Yeah.
takers,
Yeah.
and
Go
if
for it.
that works, hey, it's awesome.
Sounds like it's easier on the wrists.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. So Annie Gran Offmar, the dirty old Twitch lady game. This is from Travis Gog. Will we meet the old lady with all those dirty anagrams in future campaigns?
So
Volume 2, maybe.
the idea with Anagrammy Othmar is that is Mrs. Othmar, Tatton Othmar's mom, that Graven and Erland, you both went to the house? Erland? It was
no,
Erland.
it was Orban.
Orban, Erland.
Yeah.
Very briefly met in Mukmu, whose son had unfortunately passed when you guys saw him at the bridge there when you were rescuing Jillian. So you did meet her. I don't know that she will come up again, but she's awfully old. But you guys didn't know at the time that she had a penchant for lewd comments.
That's right. That's right. Filthy mouth.
Love that. So sorry, Travis. Thank you for correcting me. It's just Travis. You got it. Naming the campaign. This is from Due Day. So campaign 1, Peek Beneath the Veil, was so called for a bit of exposition we had in season 2, chapter 49. Was there a plan to explore the Veil, the Underdark, and the Peak Beneath the Veil within the characters and party back in... Sorry, I can't read. Back in chapter 1, and if so, did it fall by the wayside for something else? And is that sort of how it came to be, I think is the question.
Yeah, the very basic concept was there from the beginning. I had this idea that there was this mountain range, and that it kind of like in an upside down kind of way, underneath it was another mountain range in the Underdark. So the mountain range was called the Veil, and then there's all these mountains beneath the Veil, and there's one particular peak that you theoretically would have teleported to. So that was there from the beginning for sure. I think that the campaign, through no fault of anyone's, just simply moved slower than I expected. Like, we did it in a very, not our real time, but real time. We did very few time skips, like that only happened once or twice.
Yeah.
And we sort of took things day by day, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. I think it worked pretty well. Like, you don't want to drag out days when nothing's really happening, but we pumped them full of all kinds of events and stuff. And I think it just ended up, like, the trajectory of the campaign just took more time than I thought. I thought Orba was obviously trying to get to Navikapura from the beginning, so the plan was that they'd get up there, and that from there to Finlock Forest, and then from Finlock Forest maybe to the Vale, but we just didn't get that far. So in loose terms, I had that from the beginning, but how they were going to get there very much changed over time.
And how many weeks is it actually? Like, how long do we know? Do we know how long they've been together?
I think it was like 2 months.
2 months.
Like just under 2 months. I
Wow,
think.
a lot happened in 2 months of game time.
Because I think only
I think
like
it was just under.
it was how many days were we traveling down to Navikapura again?
Because you guys woke up. You guys woke up in Vern, had one more long rest, and then that night you got to Navikapura, and then you slept through the night. So we woke up.
So
2 days after
09,
that.
I think 099 in the calendar year was the last day, and then the first day of the campaign, I think I decided was, it's in the fandom. I know that. I know it's there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which you can find in the
I
Discord.
think it ended up being like 58 or 59 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
Very
just under 2 months.
Very cool. So the second part of that question was, any chance we can get a tease of Campaign 2's title?
No.
Nice try.
It's coming. It's coming soon.
All right, well,
Soon.
Title no.
I
have to
tried,
stick
guys.
around.
Called no.
I just need everyone to know that I tried.
There will be details that come slowly forward, but no, title comes later.
And
Okay,
soonly.
all right.
Soonly.
So this is for Orba. Does Orba ever meet her real dad? Is Graven there as well? Will Graven approve of Orba's dad? Will they have a dad off? So I think there's this is from Travis. I think there's a real serious question in there with some other very great suggestions. But yeah, does Orba meet her real dad?
Do you see a does
picture of
Orba
that?
have a want to have that reunion?
I think she definitely wants to, but I think she even expressed to Graven her fear for him as well. It seems like there will be... Graven lost all of his family because the gods had an eye on him. Like, obviously you were serving yours. But Orba lost too already, and like she's worried about if Boofmere can also do that kind of shit and pull people out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, it's that Spider-Man kind of thing of like, you gotta keep people at an arm's distance, so like, is it better to just leave him be? Because, you know, when you went to see Lady Shangri-La, it didn't go super well.
She got scooped.
But yeah, I think she's definitely very curious to meet him, especially when it's such a mystery as to like where she's from, and he doesn't even know if she's okay. Like, to let him know that she's out.
Yeah. I mean, does it make a difference that Orba's a doll brought to life?
You literally only wanted to ask this question, so you could.
No, I wanted to answer Travis's really good question, but I also wanted to point out that one of my longtime 100% correct theories is that Orba is a doll brought to life.
Animated.
One of the more outlandish theories.
Outlandish.
I think it was
think
based.
so.
If I can support you in a moment here, it was based in.
You don't
the
have to.
idea. No, because I think there's just a little bit of truth where we had somebody look at Orba's foot and say, "You're from Grand Persona,"
Oh my god, yes.
which.
Which
True or false?
I told you this is true. The guy knows his feet.
He knows them feet.
Dude looked at my feet and knew where I was from.
Look at the
Grand
Malafair
Persona.
tasting. Nasty boy.
I know, I just pulled my foot out in the middle of a wine tasting.
Why did you do that?
He asked.
She was young.
And you fucking did it?
I was a servant. I'm a server. Anyway, he asked to see my feet.
What if he had...
And you were like, okay.
What? What if he asked what?
And he told you where you were from.
He told me where I was from, Grand Persona, which is where like the light whistles are from. These like very high-powered, magical-y in nature.
More powerful and influential, more so than magical.
And I think you even said at one point that I was a doll from the light whistles.
Yeah, 100%.
That the light
That's my
whistles
theory.
had brought a doll to life.
And Matt is going to reveal right now that was how the campaign was supposed to end.
It's true.
Yep.
How dare you?
It's canon. It was on this stream. Moving right along.
Roll for it.
Oh, shit. If this is true, then...
It's a 20.
Well, you gotta call out what the...
It's a 14.
DC 15.
For you to make it.
Okay,
Make it so.
she's not a doll, but it would have been funny if she was. Cool.
She doesn't need another dad.
Oh, yeah. Would
Unless
you be
the dad
jealous?
is
Would you be
Boo
jealous?
Raj.
Papa?
I mean, yeah, it would be a little hard.
I welcomed your other siblings, you know.
I know, but then I said I would stick with you.
Wow.
Okay.
Have
I would
some
understand.
words for Mr.
Wow.
Orba.
I'd tell her that you've
What are
been
your
a very
intentions with
good
my fake
girl.
daughter?
Yeah. Exactly.
You might learn your last name if you meet your dad.
Oh my god.
I know my
She has one.
What's your last name?
No,
Well,
it's...
Stephen
Oh, right.
dubbed me an Elvico.
Go.
Which he had no idea that
How-
that
Did
was
not
deep
so
that would
significant.
cut. Yeah.
Oh, I lost it. I think I had to turn away because I was like, if I speak right now,
I think you
I will
did.
be a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only been Orba for so long. No idea.
And
That
you
was
put it on your
amazing.
character sheet.
Yeah, I put it on my character sheet. That's
Just
why I
because
had
of
the last
Orba
name.
for so long.
I know. Orba Vigo's got a good ring to it.
It was a really good moment.
I even asked you, I
very
texted you being like, did you
satisfying.
tell Steven to give me a last name?
I did not tell him to do that, even though he told me to name him David.
Credit where credit's due.
I
Get
can't
all the
take
credit.
credit for that great thing. Only Steven. Moving right along. Was there ever a point where any of you guys thought you'd have to retire your character for a story or death reasons? I don't know. Was there ever a reason where that might have been a thing? Orba's magic missile barrage, cough, cough.
Oh, yeah.
The Cold Light Walker fight, cough. If so, did you consider new characters alternatives? Like, did you have backups already made?
We did not have backup characters.
Honestly, did not have a
No
backup.
backup character.
No,
No backup.
I was not. I could not bring
Would have had to
myself.
start from scratch.
Yeah, I no. I could not bring myself to think about that.
Wow.
Just do the classic junior at the end of your name. And that's the new character.
Junior.
Yeah, Junior. No.
Dog.
I had no.
We fall asleep.
Yeah,
Did I think that again? I was ready to throw
I think
Graven
it's
under the
just
bus. For both Shangri-La, for Orba,
Yeah.
there was a number of times
But
where I was.
you would have had to know that you, Anthony, wanted to keep being on the stream, so
Yeah.
you didn't have a backup character if
Nope.
Graven went down in a heroic blaze of glory?
I had faith in Matt to give me a lifeline. I don't know.
Even during the Mr. 2 stuff where we had a gap, we had a week where you went down to a juvenile carrion crawler into Mr. 2.
Yeah.
You didn't even think about...
Nope.
Wow.
Couldn't bring yourself.
Couldn't
I
bring
mean,
myself to do it.
this honestly goes into one that you had picked out, which is, can you talk about sometimes, this is Travis again, sometimes where the dice told the story. And he says two that he can remember is when Kuuzni showed up on the dice when Orba rolled for the cards, the god cards. And another one is Graven trying not to kill the cleric there at the very end and ending up killing him. And the answer to that being, that happens all the time, and of varying, importance. Sometimes the dice will tell the story, and it's a kind of silly, meaningless, or largely meaningless thing. Sometimes it's like, oh, you pissed that person off when maybe you could have been friends with them. And then sometimes it's a huge event, one that we talked about off stream, that I think truly fundamentally shifted the way that Graven's story was going. Is during the Cold Light Walker fight when he prayed to every other god that he could before Kuuzni and rolled
failed religion checks
Yep,
over
all
and
religion
over.
checks over, and like 100%
Desperately
just
failed.
dice rolls.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last one, he prays to Kuuzni and he passes the religion check. Like that was 100% the dice.
Oh my god.
And I think for people who'd been watching and Graven up to that point, I think there was some percolating of this story of Demoset becoming part of Graven's story, where there was a guy who was able to take pieces of multiple gods, and that it was kind of heading in that direction. But in that moment, that totally shifted the direction of Graven's story, and that it was all dice, there was nothing.
And I mean, I literally gave it. I said, I will let go. That was part of the prayer. Was
Yeah.
And you tried everyone else before
You
him,
even tried new calculator.
Oh yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
I
like-
fucking.
You were like, who else can I
You were
ask?
going through your Rolodex.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god.
And I literally failed all checks until I finally was like, fine, I'm yours for now.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch exactly what the numbers were that you rolled, because I don't think you rolled above a 5.
No, it was bad.
They're all bad.
My religion modifier is -1,
Yeah.
but
Still.
I definitely didn't get over 10.
Which, how amazing is it to be a cleric with a -1 religion?
Doesn't have to think about it.
Is a
It comes naturally.
so no, but I think it's such a great storytelling thing.
I remember
it
realizing that.
felt like that in the moment for me too. It's
Yeah.
I thought that was a
Of
big
giving
shift.
it up.
Oh yeah, it was hard for me to say. I was I need to do, and I think we talked about this too. Is that had I not succeeded on that, characters would have died.
I think everybody would have died. For sure, Erland and Saphira, because they were just getting assaulted by the Cold Light Walker in that corner, and we couldn't move him, we couldn't distract him. He was just going for them, and it burned 2 or 3 turns because he was going up the stairs.
At least.
He was turned, or frightened, or I can't remember.
He was turned.
He was turned.
Turned.
He was turned.
I mean,
yeah.
So that's one where definitely
It let
the
us
dice told the story
stabilize.
there.
it
You
felt
placed a
that
bear
way.
trap, I think. We repositioned.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
So that was one that
nuts.
definitely came to mind. Another, a couple others, Graven getting knocked out by the carrion crawler. That was all dice, man. I mean, just in that moment,
Oh, yeah.
rolling poorly on some of those saves and stuff,
Trying to fight it, trying to escape, failing at both.
yeah, in no way did I intend the following episode to involve Graven meeting Mr. 2. That was all born of that. And also another one I'd written down was, you guys haven't seen we haven't continued the campaign long enough to see the sort of future implications of it, but when Rumik sort of dropped everything to try and locate Ayana in the he had the option to just randomly roll for a bunch of Goliaths, but instead he took the time to try and find her, and he did. He was able to do that.
Goodness, I really need
So that was a
needed
pure
that.
dice
I needed
thing.
that. Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Other oh god, there was a huge natural one. Oh, not nearly as pivotal, but Orba trying to rally the ghosts during your visit during the speakeasy. Trying to get the ghosts stuck in the speakeasy to like rally up as we were all leaving and the church was on fire.
Yeah, that
I rolled a
was-
nat.
That's
Motherfucking
right.
one.
Yep.
And they might have been on our side for that whole fight.
We
Yep.
could have like not run from another fight.
I know there was a lot of running in that.
Because this ties very much into
Yes.
this, I see someone saying, "Is there any reason why Graven didn't get a cool homebrew item like the other cast members?" I think that the Demoset idea was Graven's homebrew, that he was going to be like part of multiple cleric domains, and it might not have been an item, but some kind of power related to having multiple sources.
I did at one point have prepared spells from different domains, which is
there-
like a very much a homebrew thing.
Yeah. So
How about this? On that note, if I had used some more Michelangelo gel juice earlier on, would there may have been some like, was that more like story kind of flashbacky stuff, or was there abilities tied to that?
That was more, I think, if I remember correctly, using the gel might have triggered some memories, like some like because of the healing of the scars, like that. Because it would have brought you back to that moment that you would have. Yeah, it wasn't sort of powers related, but it definitely was information related.
Yeah. All right.
So actually, this leads right into what you just mentioned. Coffee Beans points out that there were a few episodes where the party were presented with a huge, large-numbered enemy that had to flee a fight, like the bandits in the hideout, the giant, dead-smelling plant in the cave.
Yeah.
Were these enemies really impossible to conquer, or were they intended to deliver a specific message to the party? So this is kind of a Matt question here.
Yes. Mixed. I think it was pretty rare that there was an encounter where I was like, the purpose of this encounter is like to make them run away, like to avoid it entirely. Not none. There was a couple. I think that
Skeleton King or Sunken King back at Blom's.
Yeah, you guys had to run from that one. But I think
level 2.
yeah, you mentioned the plant in the sagging caverns. That was one where that plant itself, the corpse flower, as soon as it was like waking up, you needed to get out of there. But you guys actually, because of the incident with the pledge mage, woke it up much sooner than I expected. Like, you guys would have had some time to kind of poke around in the caverns.
We walked
there.
in with a bell like, bing, ding, 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 ding.
Anyone home?
We walked in with a bell. We walked in with a fist and we punched the shit out of someone.
So there was definitely some events where, like, once something went wrong, yes, it was fucked from there. So there definitely was a couple situations like that. But yeah, I like combats that always have like multiple objectives or like strong turning points where it's like, if they do this, they can win, or if this happens, they need to run, like things like that where you just you have to constantly change your evaluation of the situation.
And
I think
I was gonna say, I think you admitted to us that there were times during the Cold Light Walker fight where you even you thought it was on the border of like they might have to run. Like,
yeah, there was definitely some like, I thought maybe. That's the thing, is the group was stubborn for sure, but there was some points there where I was like, maybe it's the better move was to run. Maybe.
I mean,
Not running.
before the killing blow, 3 out of 4 were unconscious.
Not running.
Which was nuts. Very stressful.
Absolutely.
I think before like the fight number 3, so it was 3 episodes, so number 3, I think John and Riley came in and they were like, so we're running, right? And I was like, no, we're not. We're running. We're gonna fucking fight this thing out. Everybody's gonna die.
I'm not gonna run.
This I think ties into another one, which is, was there a time when an enemy was expected to be relatively easy that turned out to be very difficult, or the other way around, an enemy? And this is, how do we say that? P for Domo?
P for Domo,
P for Domo. I think that, honestly, that is a really difficult thing as a dungeon master, of anyone being a dungeon master. I think it's rare that there's a fight where I'm like, that was exactly as difficult as I expected it to be, because one small thing like happening can drastically swing the fight in one direction or another. Like, I feel like a good example that I wrote down is like that hulking crab fight as you guys were moving through the caverns. Like, literally Erlen and Saphira scrambling up that little hill made that fight from nothing into almost a deadly encounter.
Of
like,
dice telling the story.
yeah. Like, sometimes you just can't expect when one little thing is gonna swing in your favor or the opposite. So, it's very difficult. And the carrion crawler, like I did, like that difficult, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think that it was difficult.
That was on my own.
I think a good one is Aswin, the other cleric, was easier than I thought.
Yeah.
And I think that was largely a function of the party's willingness to. I thought some of the party was going to run around trying to get some of the Goliaths.
Yeah.
And you guys didn't, and you focused on him. And there wasn't anything wrong with that, but that fight ended up being easier than I thought because you pretty much all just focused on him. So, if you were to sort of overwhelm him with force.
We were closer together, and 2 counter spells, all that together.
Counter spells came in clutch.
Yeah, I mean, that fight definitely ended up being a little easier than I thought. Not in a bad way, just in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, how about the Sunken King fight? Because that was Dice telling the story where it was just a miserable encounter for the first half.
Yeah.
But I don't recall anything like no specific event happening. We just literally could not attach, or maybe it was a tactic thing.
There was a couple, like Graven and Kiimi, like falling down those like spires, and because that took multiple turns to like get back up and fight, like one fall could be very sort of detrimental. Another one I had written down was the bandit fight near Spud's Island was more difficult than I thought it was going to be. That's the one we mentioned with the magic missile and Orba almost dying there. I think in my head, you guys were going to like ambush them, and instead of doing that, you guys could have sort of signaled to Spud, which wasn't a bad idea, but you lost the element of surprise. And because that one small decision made it from maybe not such a difficult fight to a potentially deadly one.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a question.
No, I was just gonna say.
Oh, sorry. MC. I'm
Stepping on your
everyone is trying to take my fucking job.
What am I here for?
Here's the thing. They invited me to MC this thing. So shout out in the chat if you think I should be doing it.
So here's another question.
I started watching the stream by chance, and campaign 1, the set was really different sound equipment, needed upgrades, don't we know it? Yes. The encounters were handmade by Jordy using foam. How does it feel to glow up?
So good. I mean, I think we're lucky in that.
Associated over there for a sec.
It's all the work that they've done.
It's very fortunate, and also we talked about this at one point. I feel like sometimes you make a change, like for people who do tech shit like this, sometimes you make a change and you're like, oh, that was so not worth it. Like we went through so much extra effort, but I do feel like some of the big changes we made, thankfully, were like, thank God we made that change. Like some of the things that, when it comes to mounting the microphones and changing the microphones and changing to virtual battle maps, which was a huge difference, which, you lose a little bit of the charm of the physical ones, but I think it makes the viewer experience so much better. It makes the battles much easier to follow. I can move the battle around and make it easier for the players to be able to tell exactly what's going on.
Also just gives you time to do other shit.
Yeah, it takes less time to physically craft them. Any other tech upgrades that you were like, thank God we did that?
All of them?
This table that we're sitting at, that we built?
It's very cool. I will say, having been a guest in campaign 1, at this point it was like a little bit more than 4 years ago, but it was in July. It was so unbelievably hot in that studio. It was in Manhattan. And, ooh, baby.
Go back and look at the glisten.
Oh.
Yeah, if you watch that, and the sound is very bad, so I don't really suggest it, but we are all wet.
Oh, yeah. The Genesis episodes, we are sweating.
Yes.
And that was because that was a long day, too.
Yeah, we did a double stream.
Double episode.
Yeah, we were talking about how... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What?
I liked the child, where was that? The child jumping and causing the camera to move around. Yes, our upstairs neighbor.
Oh my God.
They had a rambunctious young boy who would jump from the top of their staircase, and when he did it, you would hear a thump, and then the cameras would like shake because they were mounted.
We would literally in the middle of the show just quickly text our upstairs neighbor and be like, "I'm so sorry. I know that you have kids, but could you just ask them not to jump from such a height?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, I know. My kids are fucking annoying." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
We were like, "That doesn't help us," but I'm glad that you know that.
But more on the AC. At one point, Matt and I started we got these like ice packs that are meant for your knees and joints, so it's like an elastic thing, and we would put them on our backs under our t-shirts. So that
Who does this shit? Don't do this.
Yeah,
I don't
for
recommend
like a
it.
3-hour stream
Yeah.
in the boiling hot Manhattan office.
Always across from the fire station.
Always
That's our favorite
across,
comment in the early episodes. They're like, "Do you live right next to a fire station?"
Oh, 'cause you're
And
gonna
you
get
Because
did.
it was on Broadway.
And the parade.
Yes, the parade's
Going back
Wow.
to watch that is, you can't watch it. You
It's a trip.
can't.
It's
Well, you can only
awful.
watch it.
It's a trip.
And it was like the first Matt lore dump too, where he's like, "Let me tell you all about."
It
the
was Armand Valliard. It was the
Oh my
was
God.
the parade episode, and he was like, "I'm so glad you could all make it." Honk honk. Me 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 me.
And I could turn back time.
And like
Woo!
the competing music too, like because
Oh
you still
my
had the
God.
music going.
Oh, I just remember us looking out the window, literally seeing the parade going by, and it's like 6:55, and we're like, we're doing it.
Yeah, we're like, fuck it.
We'll be fine.
Also, I'm surprised we didn't get like,
Muted.
well, flagged on
Oh,
YouTube
yeah.
for having "We Are Family" in the
Yeah.
background because you could hear it real clearly.
Okay.
It's so much
Yikes.
better now.
Yeah, it definitely has grown. So, so it says now that we have finished. This is from As
Zocker? That's what I say.
Zocker.
They said now that we finished campaign 1, what are the characters up to when they're left to their own devices? You know, we've obviously teased. You know, you're going on the
Yeah,
fucking boat.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are
But
going
You guys
on
have
the boat.
like a little under a week to kill.
But yeah, you
before
do. You have
take-
time.
Oh my god.
That's true.
What are we doing for a weekend?
What are
we
you
know
doing?
we know what your longer goals, semi-longer goals are. But yeah, what
Short
are you guys
term?
getting up to in Navikapura?
I mean, yeah, sending some letters, reaching out to the Sangri-Las and the Bourages and the
Pockets?
in the pockets. Yes, exactly.
I just
Didn't-
gotta say that I love Pocket's existence because it means that there is a Boston in this universe.
Mhm.
And
A what?
Sort of has
A
a vaguely
Boston.
Boston.
Pockets
accent.
is a vaguely Boston
Oh,
accent.
Yeah, sort of.
I was like PKTS and BSTN. Who does he work for?
No.
Priscilla.
Oh, that was something that never came up. Pockets was indeed.
Oh.
Casivo.
Yes.
It was
Casino.
what did I say? I said Tibbetts Casivo. What are the
Tibbetts
other
and
two? And he's like,
Casino.
I'm not fucking telling you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty
But
bold
Casivo and
of me.
Tibbetts both definitely.
Oh, sick.
Wow.
I knew it.
Nah.
Sorry, we were in the middle of something else. What was
Oh,
that?
Oh, we were talking about what you guys are up to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well, this question
Jesus.
says 5-year plan, but we're doing the short term, and then you guys
Maybe
can
the
say
5-day
5 years.
plan.
Yeah, I think 5 years might be ambitious, but
Gambling,
Gambling.
Thorsten and Mr. Two.
Yeah.
Maybe finding a halfling for those poo pipes. Although that's kind of the same thing as Mr. Two, because that's Mr. Two's poo pipes.
You're gonna just send one single halfling to deal with that huge carrion crawler?
No, they're gonna go from the other way. Wait.
with the poo.
What do you mean?
I
Go
feel
from
like
the other
the
way.
poo pipes, she got
That's
someone
all.
else to deal with that.
All right.
It's
has
been
been
a
a
while
couple-
since you
it's been a
left.
couple
Alright.
The city
Like-
isn't under sewage.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like spewing sewage.
Just the one
everywhere.
pipe, actually. No, but yeah, I mean, those are my top ones: gambling, Thorsten,
I think
pockets.
Robert's getting another tattoo.
Ooh, once you get one, it is hard to stop.
That's what I'm told.
Especially if they're magical
Yeah.
tattoos. Like,
Yeah.
Design.
I get like another tattoo.
Little Il Vigo.
What would an Elvigo tattoo look like?
I don't know, like it'd be like a IV.
Like Goliath tattoos?
It would look like Roman numerals, but it'd be a lowercase I.
Ah,
That's nice.
That's cool.
That's
I do really want to go to Nolan's Woods. I wanted to like see and experience that location for sure.
place of much sort of.
Go there. No way. People still remember me around there.
yeah,
It's true.
That's true.
They sing songs about it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. But sorry, go ahead.
So, I'm going to interject here about something we talked about a little bit last week after the last one.
I'll allow it.
We couldn't help ourselves. We asked
couldn't.
Matt a couple questions.
No.
Yes,
We were
yes.
just very surprised by us both coming.
Tell it on
It was.
stream.
Because after 4.5 years, we fucking wanted to know these things.
Yeah.
Don't
I had-
squeeze that owlbear to death.
Be nice to her.
I had a theory about the Demosetness and about the Chimera. I know that somebody asked either in chat or in the Discord about Kuzni lets that slip of what the Chimera knew.
Yes.
And
oh my god.
Yeah.
I think I spoke about on stream the theory that the Chimera had disrupted one of the two sacred places that that Demoset had promised the meddling gods to keep safe so that they would have a better tie. One of them being in Nolan's Woods or near Nolan's Woods, and one of them being in this unknown location, and that was maybe a clue as to what that location was because the Chimera had been there and destroyed it, and whether that was where the myconid poisoning came in or whether that was where the undead had just kind of been drawn to it. That was my theory, and Matt led on that I was onto it. I was really kind of onto it. And
Detective Graven.
Detective Graven.
Nice.
And that Bourrage's vision, where he first saw the Chimera, that was it. Like,
Yeah.
Bourrage was very close. If not standing on it, Bourrage was very close to that.
Yes. The implication being that Demoset had promised the meddling gods that he would have these two sort of spots that as long as they existed, these holy places, it would allow the meddling gods like a stronger foothold in this world.
Okay.
And that because the Chimera just happened to kind of, in its maddened state, kind of thrash through there, maybe not destroyed it, but damaged it in some way, sort of set it ablaze. And that's why Kuzni had such a fixation on this Chimera. And that the implication also being that maybe Bourrage knows where that place is because that's where he saw. So, like,
Ooh, a spicy reveal.
Jailbreak for show.
Fucking knew
Get him out of here.
Oh wow.
God damn.
Oh, but I had to give myself to him.
Oh, speaking of just things that we kind of asked Matt really quick.
Yes, yes.
The man who stabbed Erland in the
Oh,
pocket
God.
in Orange Chupa.
That's
I
a
think
question
somebody
in
had
here
that.
as well.
I will
Yes,
mark it
we-
as answer.
We gotta know. We gotta know.
So that was a thread that maybe was going to come back along with, and it's very much related to, and then this is what I said, Winston Muldoon.
Winston, come on.
Which is that there was some kind of small team or splinter cell that included operatives and things such as Winston Muldoon, as well as other kind of powerful people, that they too sort of had an agenda against these harvesting yards, and not so much in a Jillian kind of righteous, like believing that it's wrong, but not wanting certain factions to become too powerful. That they thought the Gentle Void with this myconid technology could take over the world or something less dramatic, but like become too powerful. And that
On a hamstring him a little bit.
yes, and that there was a kind of team up for that. So you guys, in a kind of just unfortunate timing, because you guys showed up, that guy thought you guys might be on the other team, on the Gentle Void team. So
Or the
he-
Mullifairs.
Yep,
or
with the Mullifairs.
Yep.
So he stabbed you and ran. But yes, that guy that stabbed Erland and Winston
And
Muldoon
killed the light
killed
whistle.
and killed the light whistle,
Oh my God,
among
right.
others, were part of this team that was trying to kind of disrupt. So I wouldn't say you guys were on the same side, but you guys with
Common
similar,
enemies.
common
Allies,
enemies. Yeah,
yeah.
I think there was
Oh, sorry, keep going. I'm going to interrupt you and go to...
just that there was an opportunity somewhere down the line to realize or speak to one of them and realize that you guys sort of had some common goals.
Wow.
that was Coffee
Some
Beans
goals
asking
in
that
common.
question. But, so why was Deirdre Lightwhistle's name on that harvesting yard page that we found? Was he, like...
That's
Doing
a
shit?
really good one.
that one, the page in the
It was supposed to be, like, incinerated. I think Erland and Saphira found it.
It was like his toe tag.
yes, Dietrich Lightwhistle was possibly someone who was being given the extract, what's it called,
the concentrate?
the spores. Because those pages were all people that were
Yeah.
being brought in to be administered spores.
Oh, so we're gonna shove spores in his mouth?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I guess they maybe thought he was a bee or something.
Yeah, they thought maybe had identified him as a candidate.
Dang.
Oh wow.
So it's not like he was high up. He was like about to be fucked up.
I mean, maybe
I
he
mean, we're-
volunteered. That even like Niels Bogus' sister volunteered.
right,
Oh.
right.
There was definitely people who were misled into like
Yeah.
being brought there.
Thinking,
so,
yeah.
Dang.
Jeez.
Anyway, sorry.
So Winston Muldoon and Mysterious Knife Man on the same team.
Wow.
And that when he went through the
That's
transportation circle to the beach that we were always asking about beaches, you said it ended up being somewhere in the northwest, like Dillisoon or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So
North.
it kind of was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know my north. I know my up and down and north.
They had maybe a base of operations up there in the northwest.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's very, very cool.
Oh.
We have to keep going.
Yes, please.
What was everyone's favorite puzzle over the course of
favorite
the
puzzle?
campaign?
Favorite puzzle?
Favorite puzzle that was asked in the Twitch chat. I'm not sure who started
That's a
that.
good one.
Yeah. So many good ones in the genie temple.
Yeah.
Again, informed by having great guests, like,
Oh.
and how those went.
A great
Shorty.
guest.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What else did we have? I mean, we had
so
the
good.
we had the like rocks paper scissors silent one, the
Mhm.
number one.
Oh, the number one.
When we put our hands in and did the that was
Yep,
the
the
number
I mean, that
one.
definitely led to the most laughs. Charades was also a pretty heavy laugh when we were
Charades was
trying to
good.
do types of damage.
Yeah.
That's
good
the
laugh.
rock paper scissors
Oh,
one.
got
Yeah.
it.
So and then also there was also the puzzle, less of a laughing one, but in the Broken Crown Outpost, you had to rearrange the pictures to get the letters.
Opening the soul shelter where we are
Yep.
looking
Yeah.
for
Looking through the books.
Yeah.
Books,
What's
Yep.
that called again? What's that called when it's a code to say like go to this book, this page, this.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Like
like a
How?
Cipher.
A cipher.
Cipher.
A
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just
Yes,
a bunch of ciphers.
Okay.
Um.
Didn't.
Yes, a cipher. Yes, thank you. The Twitch chat says cipher.
Cipher.
Those were fun.
I think my favorite puzzle. Oh damn! It's so hard to choose because they were all so fucking fun. I think my favorite puzzle was probably the rock paper scissors. It was very difficult and required a lot of focus. And I remember moments where you would just see in the other player's eyes where they're like,
That they got lost.
oh no, they're
yeah.
lost. Totally. Like it's very hard to be like, okay, let's reset because you can't talk. And I remember just like I think at one point I looked up at Leah and she was just like, and I was like, oh no,
You were like, oh.
we're so.
I think
funny.
you guys passed that without a single error,
funny.
even though it got
Did pretty good.
a little hairy.
Yeah.
All of them, I was fine.
Because we would do this because we were counting something. I can't remember what, and then we would be like, if you I don't know what that means.
I think there was one point where Riley was like, and John was like,
No.
and they reset for that one.
Yeah, that was good.
What about
very funny.
uns? That was the number counting.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
I don't know if I've
my
ever
God.
laughed harder in my life. I think I laughed silently just as hard at Dick Whispers.
Dick
but
Whispers.
Uns, pretty good.
Broke you pretty good.
It made sense.
So
me.
It worked.
I always get the
At the
impression
end.
watching you that you are not a fan of the puzzles.
Really?
That you are like, everybody, we gotta get fucking focused, which is fine, but am I wrong?
I mean, I have so much fun. I
Okay,
guess I
well,
just
then
am
there
Campaign
like,
2, nothing but frustrating puzzles.
You love puzzles. You just get very, like, serious about them. Like, you want to do them well because you love it so
Yeah.
much. I get that way too, but
Intense.
you're very vocal.
I guess
It's
I
a
guess
doobly
it's-
doo.
Yeah.
No.
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 No,
I
yes.
guess I just-
Doobly-doo is
I raised the stakes for myself.
Like, I remember doing an escape room with you early into the campaign, just like unrelated, and I met just Anthony doing puzzles, and it's also great doing puzzles. Like, suddenly
Oh yeah.
the blinders are on.
Some
Gotta get
yeah,
it.
some Anthony came through on those like no.
so
Fist
funny.
is first, you fucking idiots. Oh wait, I'm actually
That's another
wrong.
puzzle, Josco's puzzle.
Yes, Josco
Josco's
and Genie
puzzles.
The
puzzles.
Heptactor Temple, that had a puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
Puzzles everywhere.
I
Yeah.
can't believe you put a
Lots
puzzle in
of
the middle
good-
of combat, you monster.
Oh, wild.
So yeah, favorite puzzles.
Okay, so I have one specifically for Matt. This is about D&D advice as well. I'm really impressed with this is from Solitaire on Discord. I'm very impressed with your voices that you come up with and how every one of them is different. What inspires you for them, and how do you remember the voices of the NPC? That being said, do you practice them to get them down, or you just kind of let them rip?
It's a mix for sure in terms of letting them rip or practice. If it's like a major NPC, like I practiced Pocket's voice before Raven met Pockets, especially if like I know they're gonna meet this person.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from like I watch oodles of television. And a lot of times it'll be like, oh, that person has kind of a cool, like, imitatable voice. And then when you do it, it doesn't really sound like that. But even because you're in your head, like, trying to imitate it, like, that has its own unique voice. So a lot of them, even if you're trying to do an impression, I'm not a great impressionist, even though I can do a lot of voices. So it comes out as something kind of unique in its own thing. So that happens a lot of it. And, you know, sometimes their voice is just, like, it's a... David the Capybara's voice that would happen totally in that second, in that moment. So it's a mix. In terms of remembering them, I have to go back all the time. Like, if people are returning to an old NPC, unless it's an NPC that I did a lot of voice for, I'll have to go back and be like, what did that person fucking sound like again? I had to do that when you guys were coming back to Navikapura. I like listened to Thorsten's voice back again because it had been a long time since I'd done Thorsten's voice. Who else? I mean, it happens all the time, but yeah, I mean, you know, if you have to look for it.
Even somebody like Steve is somebody who we went back to like several episodes later.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
But I have no idea what Steve sounds like.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would have no idea. He's too long ago.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just kind of like this.
Yeah.
You know.
I see another one. This is related. Favorite Matt animal voice.
Oh God, yeah.
Those ones, by the way, almost exclusively happen in the moment because I never know when Riley's gonna talk to a fucking animal. Like, I have no clue.
Should I find a bird? I'm gonna find a bird.
In addition to David, like, yeah, the birds, the fucking humans' birds, and like the newt, where's the
Oh,
whole
you didn't practice
newt?
the newt. He was spot on.
Oh, all of the animals. Like, I just never know when.
Fucking serious.
You even did the eyes.
Sticky, like, newt eyes.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But yeah, you can't prepare those.
Wow. My favorite personally is definitely David, but I will say the birds. The birds are good.
Yeah, the fucking humans.
I don't know. I liked the rat that was going to look for the green crystal.
I took a lot of flack for the rat understanding the concept of color.
Or seeing green,
Wow.
I think is big debate.
It's a fantasy world.
Wow. Rats in Anti-Sue see green. Get off her dick.
Or it's a magic spell, so she says green, and the rat's able to hear whatever in his little rat head translates to green. But yeah, we took a lot of flack for the rat
says
being
to him,
That's really funny.
they're like,
half
this is
legal
funny and all,
garbage."
but don't you know, you fucking idiot, that rats can't see color? Holy shit.
hey, they have that much faith in you that you did 5 weeks of research for what rats can
For what
see.
the rats are.
I should have.
Little
And
did they
that
know that
they're
you're
like,
making
I
it up."
know that he's so good. I know that he did this
That's
research.
definitely what they thought.
Yes. No doubt. No doubt. Okay, I am trying to find a question, and I'm totally just vamping here.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, we've got it.
Okay.
Matt, what was the likelihood that a meeting with the sea hag would have escalated into a fight? More importantly, can we get a sample of the sea hag voice from Matt? Did you have to?
We know you
Okay.
prepped her. We know you
Here's the
prepped
thing with
her.
the sea hag voice.
Oh, no.
I think that voice is just gonna come from campaign 2, so we're gonna save that
Seriously?
voice. I mean, that was one that, like I said, I thought you guys were gonna go there, so that's a voice that I practiced ahead of time. I don't think it's anything crazy, but that's a voice that, like, I don't want to just, I don't want to throw that voice out for nothing.
That's fair.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, I'm the sea hag.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to my hagler.
She's very
baritone.
articulate.
And another time that you totally thought we were gonna go in there.
Oh yeah, that was a ton of fun. That whole portion of that episode, the debate about that was fun. All the different ways you guys could have approached that was fun. That's one of those times where I had prepped some stuff that we didn't end up using, but that I didn't mind. Like it was fun watching you guys suss that out. It totally could have. All of the ideas were valid. You could have tried to bargain with her. You could have busted in there and just fucking fought her.
Yeah.
You could have tried to sneak in and like just snatch some stuff and then leave. Like there were so many ways to approach that, and
So mad.
I wanted to fight it so bad.
I am a little surprised that you didn't go in some capacity, but I didn't think it was the wrong decision. I think that a bargain with her could have been fun if there was like
Yeah. Did you have an idea of like what the sea hag would ask for of each individual?
I do think there was some some insight rolls to be made on. I had this idea that the sea hag was like insanely perceptive, like that she could, as soon as you kind of walked in, she was like sizing you up and could tell like what items were meaningful to you just by the way you sort of held your body, or like which person in the party like you seem to be attached to. And that, and just that would sort of guide her, because they're all about, you know, making deals that.
No deal, I steal.
Yes, they relish the taking things from you that mean something to you. But I also think, and was a possibility, that she could have been a great font of knowledge in the right circumstances. I think she definitely could have had some information about Aswin, who had come along, because like she lurks around the coast, and that she might have had some, and also possibly some advice for you know, getting into Finlock Forest. I mean, Pockets had a good idea of what you guys might be up against, but maybe some more ideas about what other creatures might be lurking in the.
I, for one, am glad that it went the way it did. I think that it was too much to lose.
Yes. Was it probably strategically okay that we saved our supplies and our healing potions and any other resources that we would have used? But also, we ended the campaign with so much stuff.
Yeah, you guys have so much stuff.
So many.
And our lie.
Remember when you bargained for that sweet healing potion from the bullywugs?
Yes.
They took one from a crate of healing potions that is on the Mulliford.
You say that. I didn't know that. You know that. I didn't know that.
You kind of knew that. You knew the bullywugs that looted the ship.
I was like, oh, there's a good chance we go in there and there's jack shit in there.
No way. The bullywugs couldn't have gotten all of the potions.
I'm just saying.
How many chess pieces were on that boat?
Guns blazing.
That's a good question. I don't know that I had a specific number.
Roll, yeah. You get a 2. There's
One.
no piece.
One. There was one piece.
Oh, I just rolled a d6.
29.
29.
And I found 3 of them.
But yeah, so the sea hag was a very interesting part that ended up
like spit on
sort of.
your screen. I'm so
Did you just clean it with the mushroom
Yeah, he's very helpful. I don't have any tissues or anything over here, so.
Is it that covered
Oh,
in
yeah.
spit?
It was,
Yeah,
it
what
was
did you
pretty
do?
big.
No.
No.
Got a
Not
good.
the rag, the iPad.
Oh.
The iPad. What?
Did you super soak it? Why did you need 2 different items to clean up the...
Because she was
He was just trying to save this guy's
okay.
little mushroom butt.
From his.
Let me lick
From the loogie that he hawked on your screen.
Don't worry about my iPad, everyone. I need the stream to know that it's gonna be okay. So this is for Anthony. What do you think the future of the Ilvigo clan will be? And do you see Graven? What do you see Graven doing in his future with the boys? And what classes will he go into? Well, I think we kind of know the classes, but I guess there's always the ability to go more, especially if our guy Buraj takes that totem back.
Yeah. So the easier part of that, I think, is that right now it's barbarian, part fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to give up the barbarian to give back to Buraj, in which case another, no magic. I think we established is that magic cannot touch him. No druid, no sorcerer, no warlock.
Learned that from.
Yeah.
Bony jabroni.
So it would have to either push into fighter, maybe his own version of barbarian. Yeah. As for the Ilvigos in general, damn. I mean, we somehow got way more of them.
Yeah.
Freed than I would have imagined. So like I've got 2 brothers and a sister that we could like hang out and like they could tell me about the cousins that we saved and the ones we didn't, and like like getting a chance to sit down and be like, hey, this was what it was like when you were taken. This is who helped. That's what Graven wants to know, is like he wants the heart-wrenching details of like who sacrificed what for him, and like to try to get him back, and why they even fucking believed that it was possible,
I mean, that is, I think, a really beautiful, just me personally. Cry it out, give the tears right to the camera. That to me was a really beautiful way to tie in the end of the campaign, and to see that there were these people that the party was with Graven the whole time, but there were these people who were with him for so long, and I think that's a real tribute to your storytelling, and then also to the guys jumping in and everybody playing together. It was like very, very moving as a fan to be able to watch that story, and I think very satisfying personally.
I liked the idea that slowly over time, like at first, like in your backstory, the only name's Bouraj. So you're like, oh, maybe Bouraj is wondering what happened to me. And then we find Lady Singer-La, and you're like, oh, there was one or two other people that were searching for me. And slowly you realize that, like, it was everybody. It was all the LV, like, everybody was.
Never gave up on their little boy.
So just like, piece by piece, you realize that, more and more people are looking at it.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very beautiful, and I appreciated it. And as a follow-up to the Il Vigo future, people want to know, are you gonna kiss Jillian right on those lips with his strong self?
Listen.
So this goes back to kissing. Fine, you don't have to answer us about Barrage, but do you want to give Jillian just a little kiss?
I'm just saying that we're going on this romantic boat ride
No,
together.
we're not.
So romantic.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We're gonna get on this boat. Sometimes the boat be rocking.
Sometimes the boat be
and
rocking.
you gotta, find a port and storm.
Is Jillian the port in this scenario?
Yeah, they're dirty buckets. They go from port to port. Yeah, no. I think that there's now that there is. Jillian was very much like, yes, Capitan, and like, now we're kind of. I feel a little bit more peer with her now, maybe. So yeah, maybe a little
more even power dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like now, we've been on a couple missions together already, and like we have a few like side winky things when somebody,
Side winky thing.
Yeah.
A classic.
Mohan
romantic
says something
moment.
dumb, and you both look to each other and roll your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Just a regular Jim and Pam
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
Just a little
Exactly.
She looks to the camera.
exactly.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Roll for kiss.
roll for kiss.
2.
A 2.
Ooh.
Not good.
Rebuffed.
Not.
Oh.
What was
My brother
it?
gotta thank you.
My brother got a thank you. I believe.
Oh no.
Was the one kiss in the campaign?
No, Saphira
Severe. Yeah,
kissed
you're right,
Steve.
you're right.
Yeah.
Poorly,
Yeah.
but she kissed him.
But
This actually sort of does lead me right into a Jillian question. Well, 2 Jillian questions. I think they're good, but this one is from Alex Kaza. What was Jillian's backstory? Was she a demigod, or some other sort of like Aasimar situation? Did I say that right?
Mhm.
Drag me to hell. Okay.
Choose human. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's more.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yes. So like back when the gang was in the harvesting yard, and I didn't remember this, I had to say, you guys are like way on top of it. I'm like, who? I had to look up all these characters. All right, anyway, back when the gang was going to the harvesting yard, she said she cut Kuzni's influence over Graven. Is that right?
She had a thing where she was able to kind of
Limit.
keep Graven from being like controlled by Kuzni. She was able to kind of interrupt a divine influence. Yeah. The idea was that she was of a bloodline. You guys had seen Kuzni take a mortal form outside the soul shelter. The idea that she had a bloodline where a god in its mortal form had children with a mortal in a real Zeus kind of way. He was always sleeping with mortals.
He's always turning himself into a goose and sleeping with mortals.
So yes, that's somewhere in her bloodline. She had certain not divine powers, but certainly influence over the divine and its effect on the material world. So yeah, that was her kind of backstory. You guys got pieces of.
She went to Camp Half-Blood on Long Island.
Yep.
With all those
Yes.
all those kids.
All those Percy Jackson kids. So one more Jillian question.
Yeah.
Who's cooler? David the capybara or Jillian?
Did you just forget her last name?
No, there's other stuff. I don't know. No, I'm just saying there's other stuff in here, but I sort of want to hear your answer first, and then I'll give you
Who
a
do
couple
I
more.
think is cooler?
Yeah, who do you guys
Who do
think
you
is
guys
cooler?
think is cooler?
Well, I
David
know.
or Jillian?
I feel like
Because you want to give
cool.
kisses?
Oh my god.
Who would you rather kiss? Jillian
David?
or
David.
David the capybara?
David is pretty friggin' cute, guys.
He's got that big snoot.
Big snoot.
But Jillian and I have more history.
All right, fair.
That's the reason.
Between those two, yeah.
Okay.
Just saying, what's
All right.
Mara?
I mean, I think Jillian's pretty cool.
I think
Jillian's pretty cool as well. But I also
David's like too cool for school.
David
Like,
is-
he doesn't give a shit.
Does not give a shit.
Yeah, he'd
so
get
it says,
old on you.
if Jillian could talk to David, what would it sound like? Can we hear an example? I think this is just people trying to make you talk to yourself.
Oh, 'cause
Pimping
David-
Matt into
Well, who's gonna do Jillian or David's voice?
No, you gotta do
you
both.
have to do both.
That's the whole idea.
I'll do.
This is
David.
definitely chat trying to pimp you into talking to yourself.
Is it easy to toggle between voices like that?
You do.
Yeah, like you
wouldn't
do
say
a
that's
lot of,
terribly
like, Barry and
difficult.
Cypress.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's.
But those two are pretty different.
Those. Oh, I was gonna say those two are pretty similar.
Jillian and David.
Oh, Jillian and David. Yeah, I mean, especially if it's voices I've done before, I don't think toggling between them is too difficult. Sometimes if there's like a crowd scene or something where people are shouting, I'll forget someone like one of the cast will be like, "Oh, can I walk over to that guy who just said that?" And I'm like, "I don't fucking know what he's I'm like, "Sure." Like they like I don't know, like generic fucking because
I mean,
sometimes you just say stuff.
There were, especially with Jillian, there were definitely some conversations we got into with people where Jillian was kind of leading
The conversation.
conversation. And,
Blom. That was
yeah, and you I would say flawlessly. Back
Flawlessly.
and forth. Like,
Yeah, if certainly if they're like major NPCs or people have done like you do it back and forth.
Yeah.
So let's pretend that Jillian can talk to animals and just give us like one line of Jillian being like, "Yo, what up, David?" And then David talking back to her.
David, I've been told by a friend of mine to say "what up." Do you have anything to say to that?
Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Thank you,
David.
for humoring me.
You get
You
it.
wish.
I will
No, give her a fish.
longer,
It'll be so sad.
Other way.
pimp you out for the rest of this thing.
10 seconds. The
10
rest of
seconds.
this sentence.
For the rest of this, okay. Can we, however, get some other cleric backstory? Do we have that for Aswin? Did he have a
Oh.
family or anything like that?
I think that I don't know if there might have. I think the group tried to non-lethally knock him out.
Yes.
And I don't think there was really an opportunity there to like get the scoop on
Yeah.
him. He wasn't about to sort of spill all the details.
No.
But I think that as Graven theorized, he probably came from another, misleading situation where as he spoke to Graven, the idea was he almost like sought the meddling gods out. So you're picked by the meddling gods. They pick that you're not like vying for their attention, especially Kuuzni specifically. Like you guys met the Heptactor people that actually kind of were vying for his attention.
Yeah.
But for Kuuzni, he picks. He says, "This is who I want. I pick that person." So for this guy, he had been kind of vying, maybe because he had an upbringing where he felt very powerless, that he was like, "Oh, if I could be a cleric of the meddling, I've made it if I'm a cleric of the meddling gods."
For sure.
And that Kuuzni might have picked someone like that who otherwise would go overlooked, almost as a way to show Graven, like, there's people there who would kill for this opportunity, and yet you spit in my face.
Yes.
So that his backstory was related to like wanting so badly, and for his whole life maybe being turned away or ignored.
Yeah.
But that Kuuzni could show someone and be like, there's people out there who would kill for the opportunity to be my cleric.
Well, they gonna get killed.
Damn. That's a tough one. Okay, this is from Coffee Beans. It says, as the campaign progressed, we noticed Orba and Graven's character growth. Orba became more confident, and Graven grew to cherish his friends more.
Aww.
What?
Even grew to have friends at all.
Yeah, Graven got friendship.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Was there like a pivotal moment, situations that affected your character growth? Like any moment in the campaign where you're like, yeah, that's the moment. No turning
grew
back.
up that day.
I grew up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dang.
I can let you think about it, and I'll keep working on my Graven impression while you guys talk.
I think we touched on it in the fact that Graven.
Kuuzni. I'm fucking nailing it.
Graven didn't know that there was anybody pulling for him. And
Yeah.
learning that was like, I think you helped me work through it, Matt, as Valder, where Graven was like, great, so I could just stay down here and die, and that would be the best thing for most people because then Kuzni would be kind of fucked over. And as Valder was like, didn't you just tell me that you have, somebody who got pulled into the, isn't there somebody who needs your help right now, maybe? And I remember being like, you're right, damn it. And so that was definitely very pivotal, is learning all that. The grander scheme of becoming close with these traveling companions and family.
Aww. Yeah. I do think Orba got her confidence through being with people that were very different from herself, and her upbringing and her skill set. Thinking about it, if she was at the halls for most of her life, she was surrounded by very intelligent and mostly privileged people, and always being reminded that she wasn't in that world, that she was below that level. And then as soon as she leaves the world and she meets people who are skilled in all kinds of things, people who aren't so skilled and kind of dummies, slowly realizing how her instincts were very valuable and she could be an independent person. I think that was a huge thing. And also really quickly discovering that the unfairness of that system at the halls of that hierarchy existed in the real world, which I think was a huge epiphany for her, where it's unfair everywhere and people from no means were in hard times everywhere, and there was constantly people trying to get power and control and take advantage. And I just think when she saw how pervasive it was, her confidence and her determination are the things that kind of launched her into her goals and her drives, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love that. I think those are both great answers.
There's a couple chat things about Buffmere.
Yeah.
Or see Buffmere again, interacting with Buffmere. Love to see Buffmere again. After interacting with Kuuzni, the first couple times you sort of interacted with Buffmere, was that sort of, what was that like to realize that, the gods had kind of very different...
that is definitely the only other one that I had a conversation with.
Yeah, right? A direct conversation, yeah.
I mean, it was hilarious and ridiculous. And it did make me think that I could go down that route of although I will say that it was always with the underpinning of I'm doing this to then pull the rug out, if that's even possible, to be yes, gods, yes, fill me with your juices and I will help you. Oh, fucking no. Oh, you believe me? You believe me, you stupid idiots. I'm not gonna drown myself with my... I miss Buffmere, and no, we're not getting together because fuck that.
He's a silly little bitch.
He is a silly
There's
little bitch.
There's a lot of silly little bitches in
it's true.
Peek Beneath the Veil, I think.
It's true. There was a time where I very much wished to have connected more with him, but the dice told a different story.
Yeah, I really want to hear not Calcetra, that's a character. Carcera Mole's voice, the god of death. The meddling god of death.
Wonder if she sounds like this.
Oh, a great one. I think there was, if some of those religion checks had gone well in that fight with the Cold Eye Walker, maybe just hear a little voice of somebody.
Or she could have been
Graven, I heard of that son of a bitch. That you? Kuzni was talking about some fucking Goliath piece of shit.
She bitch my bird.
I don't know.
I was also picturing that she could be
God.
the ghost of the future in the Muppet Christmas Carol, where she just
just
yeah. That's also kind of how I was possibly picturing it as well.
Totally.
But I really want to know what she sounds like.
Back in season 2, chapter 9, we heard that we heard from Matt that Tabletop Notch might incorporate new rules when they arrive as far as 5e versus 1 D&D. Is that still the case? As someone who's been this is from Due Day.
Oh yeah.
As someone who's been playtesting along with the release for each one, have you guys kept up with the changes in Unearthed Arcanas since they've been released? And what are your thoughts on that? That's sort of a multi-part question.
Yeah, loosely is the answer to that. I have definitely, as like, I'll read some of the changes and stuff. We don't want to kind of adapt too many of those rules while so many of them are still like in flux. Like they're constantly changing stuff, reworking stuff in like major ways, and we don't want to like have someone base a whole character around it and then be like, oh fuck, it's totally different now. So we probably are still very much, that's a wait and see situation. I'd love to, certainly try some of that stuff out, even if it's not in campaign 2 or while campaign 2 is running, even if it's like a little mini side campaign or something where we get to try some of that stuff out. I've read some of the stuff. Some of it's interesting. Some of it's hard to tell how it'll play out without, trying it for yourself.
Yeah, I know Due Day's been doing a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard mixed things. Some people really like some of the changes. Some people feel like some of the class changes are really drastic and sort of unnecessary. But it does seem like a lot of the changes are streamlining some stuff, possibly in anticipation of their VTT that they're releasing, like the one D&D VTT. Right. So yeah, that's very much up in the air at the moment. The answer is we would like to play around with it, but not while it's still being changed so frequently.
For sure. Okay, so how many story threads? This is from Hopeful Optimist. How many story threads is the right amount? I think this is a DM question for sure. Writing a story can be really easy to have a single thread that dominates the narrative. In RP homebrew, it easily. Hard to read. We
should wrap up soonish because our MC is just running out of
batteries.
She's
fading. She's sleeping, girl. It's equally easy to have some unending branches of story threads that never end up happening. DMing your friend groups. How do you balance the world building and letting players go wild? This campaign ended well, in part because of a Chekhov's gun with Quiznos appearing on my Twitter notification time to time. How do you feel about all your threads?
There's no easy answer to that. I'm a big fan of throw out lots of threads. You don't want to make it like overwhelming or confusing, and I understand that that's a fine line, but I also am a big believer in like throw spaghetti against the wall and see what the party is interested in. And I did that lots of times where I'm like, here's, characters throw out like, oh, I heard this, or could you talk to this person? And I like to see what they gravitate towards. I like to see what interests them, and you can always kind of reassess, and you can tie off threads too. Like if it seemed like they weren't really interested in something and they're like, oh, what happened to that guy? You can be like, that guy's dead. like sorry, he's fucking gone. Yeah. So I'm on the general side of it feels like a more living, breathing world when there's lots of stuff happening that isn't directly related to the party. Like when they talk to someone, they're like, oh, all this stuff happened. And maybe you're thinking, wow, was that important? And that isn't necessarily the case. Like shit's just happening out there. And what you choose to interact with, is up to you.
What jumps to mind is like that, what was that little town? Hackathon.
Yeah. Oh, that, God, yeah.
Yeah, we could... Maybe one of us did, I can't remember, but like maybe one of us might have been like, this is the mighty to trade, come to the Northeast, like maybe there was like, we gotta look into this because of this and this, but like, no, that was just its own kind of separate thing, and there was like benevolent and, mean-spirited people that were doing things for their own good or for the good of others there, but it didn't really reach out very far from that region, and like, that's awesome.
I'm trying to think if there was one that Matt, not like clearly was pushing on us, but Matt like introduced, and all of us collectively were just like, fuck that. Turned and went another direction. No, the sea hag we genuinely had to hash out. I'm trying to think.
Oh, you just were like,
I feel like there was an episode where like as like the camera stopped rolling, we took a breath and we were like, we don't want to do that. I can't think of what it was, but there was definitely one thing where we were like, no, don't want to.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what the party might be interested, or you catch them at the right time when they're not actively working on something else. And
it strikes me that it was like one of our last days in a certain city or something like that, where we knew we were about to like get on a fucking carriage, or we knew we were about to get on some horses, and we were like, we don't have time for this. We're going to bed. I'm sorry, we're going to bed.
Like there was some shit going on at Boffin Estates where the maze was, like that seemed a little shady going on with him. There was also a lot of stuff with, I mean, you talked to him quite a bit,
murder.
but Bottled and
Give me a gold.
yeah, give me a gold. What's his face? Niels Bogus and his sister, like just like lots of stuff that you know, you never know how much they're gonna gravitate to one particular plot line.
Orban did feel that way about Hackathon. When we got to Hackathon, Orban was just like, another shitty place. Can we
It's
just
too much,
go?
yeah.
I can't try to save one more town, and I always fail.
Yeah.
It's always bad.
We did give what's her face a raw red ass, yeah.
Did a raw red ass.
Well,
Yeah, it's true. It's
well,
true.
not her actually, but
What's some of her friends?
We're buddies. Do we need to be wrapping it up?
Yeah,
we do. Should we do some
was there a
lightning round
couple
stuff?
that? Okay, there was a couple that I want to make sure I hit.
Yes. Okay.
Just
let's do it.
because they're either quick or I know that they were sort of longer questions. One of them was a very quick one. Dude asked about graphics and not being said the show us how it's
Show us
done.
how it's done. Yes. Yes.
We missed those. We really liked those. They were technically causing some problems. They were causing some like frame drop issues just with the overlapping. We've upgraded some equipment, and I can easily say we fully plan to bring those back in some capacity for the next campaign. Like we like those. We like the little like kill cams, we called them.
Nice.
So those will definitely be back in some way. We're not exactly sure yet, but now that we sort of have the infrastructure for it, we can do that. I wanted to talk about Mr. 2 real briefly.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
I think people are dying to know.
Can I have a cough drop before you start this?
You can.
I've been
indeed.
looking at
Have
them.
a cough drop.
You want one?
Pass them around.
ran out of
Remedies
candy.
all around.
Candy.
I too ran out of
It's
candy.
almost gone now.
Yeah, you can pass them around.
Yeah.
So Mr. 2, it was
I gave you two.
a rather complicated sort of mystery, as was the intent. So you guys had to kind of run around town and solve the mystery.
Detective Graven. Dun,
Detective
dun.
Graven. And I think it also fell off a little bit because we did have Leah depart, and that was like Graven was certainly involved, but it was more tied to her plot line, so it became less of a like, oh, we have to fucking figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Key phrases involved in that investigation: the compulsion pendant, metallic attunement, the carrion crawler mucus, and the carrion crawler.
That's right.
And Joe Magosto, who specialized in, do you remember what she specialized in?
The skin graft.
Skin grafts, yes. So these were the important like clues and components. So Mr. 2, under her sort of lock and key in service, wanted to obviously escape servitude. That was not a mystery. But he had this plan that involved, what he didn't want to do was just kill her, even if he got his magic back, because that, you know, he might be captured, he might be killed in turn, like, he's powerful, but he's not, you know, so powerful.
What level was he?
I don't know if I ever had a specific stat block. for him.
NPCs don't have levels.
Whatever.
But his plan was, and that he was able to execute thanks to Graven getting caught, and you guys broke that orb in the broken,
Yeah,
broken
really solid,
place.
man.
Senka Uberti, who ran Reciprocity, and he was indentured to her. She had as she was itching on her neck constantly, she had a very disfiguring burn on her neck that she had gotten a long time ago. And she wanted to get a skin graft from Joe Magosto to replace it. So it was kind of, she thought it was unseemly, the sort of burn on her neck, and she wanted to get it replaced. But Joe Magosto, there was a very sort of long line of people waiting to get these magical kind of skin grafts. And Mr. 2 made a deal where her assistant, who you also heard of, Percy Oland was one of the names that you guys heard of, that Percy would agree to have her kind of skip the line, and he would do the graft instead of Joe Magosto. Percy would do the graft. He was like, if you want to get the graft done sooner rather than later, rather than waiting for Joe, I'll do it. And what he did in cahoots with Mr. 2 is he got a piece of skin that had a tattoo on it, a metallically attuned tattoo. And the idea was they were going to graft the skin to her that had a metallically attuned tattoo to it. That was the first part of the plan. Second part of the plan was acquiring the compulsion pendant, which, as you remember, it basically can force you to do something. You can't like hurt yourself. It can't force you to like punch yourself in the face, but it can force you to do something.
Cliff, yeah.
And
Funny though.
with the metallically attuned tattoo, as soon as you put the compulsion pendant on, she would instantly be attuned to it. So that was the trick there. Instead of forcing, it's hard to get someone to attune to something against their will, basically.
Yeah.
And after doing that, now this is where the carrion crawler ties in. Carrion crawler mucus sort of incapacitates you, and he had her set up in one of her rooms at Reciprocity with like a meal that was laced with carrion crawler mucus.
Okay.
And so she would come out of her stupor and be compelled to eat the meal in front of her, and then would immediately go back to being incapacitated.
Oh my god.
So he had her in a kind of like prison stasis where she was stuck there, and she had sustenance because she was eating.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Oh my god.
And
Monster.
but what that allowed him to do was take on her appearance, which you guys posited,
Oh my god.
and pretend to be her while she was like locked up in one of the rooms.
That is horrifying.
That is
Holy
so
shit.
fucked
It's very
up,
horrifying. He was
man.
definitely a villain, like obviously.
Yeah.
So what about the crystal?
Which crystal?
The one we destroyed.
That was those crystals were suppressing Mr. 1 and Mr. 2's powers.
Oh,
so
okay.
you helped him he was not able to disguise himself until you broke that crystal. That's why
Oh
when they
my
went over there after
God.
you broke it, he was like, Senka didn't really seem to care about breaking the crystal. That was Mr. 2.
Because it was
Oh my god, we talked to Mr. 2.
Oh my god.
That's what I-
Talked to him.
Wait, was I there?
You
Or-
and I went.
I don't think I showed my face though, on purpose, didn't I?
No, I think we both went.
I can't remember.
That's when you lost my mic crawl.
Yeah.
Because I was casting Detect Magic.
I do know what you're talking about, but I feel like I didn't. Anyway.
Oh, I don't know.
You did cast detect magic, and you detected like transmutation magic.
But it was also, you were like,
it was kind of
magic's
everywhere, yes, because it was. So yes, but
Wow.
he kept her alive in case he needed because if he's pretending to be her, he might need details that only she knows, and that he was
That is
worried. Yeah. So
deeply fucked.
We gotta go back to
what's
Nivi
the end
Kapora.
game? She's so supposedly she's still there, waking up and eating.
his prisoner,
Oh, fuck.
as he was her prisoner. Now
Yeah.
she is his prisoner.
Wow.
So his goal is to just hang out there now for a while and like.
I mean,
live
he gets
with
to
her?
live at her life and in a lap of luxury.
That's well.
that is disgusting.
Wow, Matt. That's
But that my hope was
nasty.
that when you guys come
That's
back,
fucked up, man.
Depending on when we ended the campaign, that
Oh.
you would figure that out and
Yeah.
bust up the situation.
Wow.
Ew.
Jesus.
This
That's
So she was
poor
there
woman,
somewhere.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This
baby.
poor slave-owning woman. Let's not go crazy.
Yeah. All right. There's.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right. There's lots of shades of gray
Compelled-
here.
Nobody
That
was a good guy.
One of the big
there.
questions.
Nobody
like,
was.
what
a
was
good
he
guy.
compelling anyone to do? And it was to.
Eating carrion
Eat.
crawler mucus.
It was just the eat.
Oh.
He was-
Okay.
Wow.
I'm so satisfied.
That is a twist, and that's real good.
It's.
Some lightning round stuff, and then.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
it.
All right.
I saw one in the chat that I want to do before I forget.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
okay? Can confirm Josco and the cleric were fighting. That was them too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think
we knew
you
that.
used sending at one point to talk to
Yeah.
Talk to
Josco, and he
Josco.
said that he met your other half.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And how did that like come about? Like, was Josco looking for this guy, or like just happened upon him, or?
Yeah, Josco. I mean, Josco and him were both headed to the Finlock Forest
Got
at that
it.
point, and
Right.
sort of crossed paths.
All right, floor's yours.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Or I'm having help.
Oh, here we are. Any regrets? If you guys could go back and change one interaction, one sentence, one spell, one town unprovoked, what would that be?
Oh shit.
Oh God.
One town you wish to not piss off.
One roll you wish had gone well
Yeah,
that
yeah,
didn't
one
go
thing.
well.
I guess I wish. No. Everything was great. We made great decisions. I wish. That's not an answer to that.
Do you have one?
I already talked about how I regret the Nat 1 from trying to get the ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can say that's yours.
Can you regret a roll? Is that a thing?
Yeah, you can regret a roll.
Just something you
can
wished had
re-roll.
gone differently.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
I wish we had met those the other team of
The
Bounty
bounty hunters again. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, the ones
Yeah.
that do an impression of
I
you?
wish we had either gotten a chance to explain ourselves or have it out.
Oh wow.
Just have it out. Just squash the
for
beef.
fun.
Squash the beefs. It's
beef.
an opportunity to
beef.
squash it.
You
You got
know?
too many beefs.
Kill the rest
all
of
over
them.
Antisuyu, jamming us
Jamming
up.
us up.
Okay.
Oh, you know about Culp? Sorry.
What do you know? You go first. What do you know?
You tell me what you know. Was there one ability spell homebrew feature that you saw another party member use that you wish you had?
Sepsis was so
Sepsis
cool.
was so fucking cool.
And you have sepsis.
And then
But then you have sepsis, yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked the idea of having to like manage it, and then also the like randomness of the effects that come upon you, and that you also get a boon and a bane. Like I thought that was just really interesting, like play style. It just kind of changes your mindset as you're playing. Yeah, I really liked that. Although the draft jacket also looks super cool.
Yeah, that's all upside.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the draft jacket was awesome. Can we get some more on Almirage writers? Who's the best writer of all the brothers?
Didn't actually ride all mirages.
But you
Here's
must
Rumik.
have.
Here's Sasha.
Yeah,
you roll
who's
your
better?
own.
Who's
Who's
better?
the best? Ooh, Sasha.
Natural 20.
King of the Almirage.
And also, it's not all mirages, it's Aurochs. I mounted the Aurochs so good.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you say,
Whatever. We
Hold on to
believe
their
you.
giant horns.
What happened to the Lemonade Man? Did they grow a lemonade empire and rule the world?
I mean, you guys did not slow down the Lemonade Man and Mukbang.
Was there anything in the lemonade?
No, there wasn't
Wow.
Okay.
I knew it.
anything. Yeah.
Okay.
That was
It
his.
was for kids.
That was his,
Hearts
as
and minds
as
campaign.
people like that do, his way of ingratiating himself to the citizens. They were like, oh, he's like he provides for us where the government does not. So, yeah. No, there wasn't anything in the lemonade.
Marvin Bishop's alive.
Marvin Bishop is alive.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, he
Might
was
be-
still.
He might be in a terrible
Yeah.
waking up and eating shit like Senka situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, as last you know, like he was still useful to them. So he's still alive.
Okay.
Useful.
Peek Beneath the Veil novel. Are you gonna make it a book?
Already is a book. Oh my god.
Come on, man. You're not gonna write a little book?
How could it be written
Yeah.
in a book?
How long could it take?
How long could one little book
How
take?
long could one novel take?
TBD.
Okay, well, so that sounds like a possibly.
Yeah.
Trogdon, did Orba draw the best map ever, or did Matt just decide it would be awesome if the layout was like the map? You drew that, right?
I drew it, yeah. So
Oh,
Matt pulled up the original map and like gave me a certain amount of time. We didn't record it because we're dummies, but like gave me a certain amount of time, and I drew like a couple of the main buildings. And then after he took that away, I was like, okay, now Orba has to disguise the map, which wasn't timed. I could take my time, and I was like, I just started making squiggles, and I was like, oh, this kind of looks like a dragon. And then when I showed it to Anthony and Matt, they were like, do you realize what you just fucking drew? And I was like, I don't know who that is.
Unintentional
The Burninator.
Trogdor the Burninator.
Burninator.
That's so funny.
So yeah, it was just
not
total
planned.
happenstance.
And I mean, the buildings were there, but yeah, the design of it was all Orba.
I love that.
other-
There's a lightning question from Bone Dog about will Graven and Orba continue into campaign 2? No.
No, they will not.
No characters.
Was Erland crazy or were the nature spirits real? Barry and Cypress were not real.
That's I knew it. I knew it.
very
It was
sad.
all here. They knew what
Yeah.
he knew.
Yes,
and it
they
helped
did.
them
They
suss
knew
things
details
out.
that only
Yeah.
Erland.
But were they right that he was only had like less than a year to live, or was that Erland's like self?
Well, like they were right, but like deep down, Erland could feel that
Oh,
it,
okay.
like he was more poison. It was accelerating faster than he was told. Yeah, they didn't have any information that sort of Erland deep down maybe didn't suspect at the very least.
So that's why they didn't know where the sauce was.
That's
man.
yes, they didn't know. If Erland didn't know where the sauce was, they didn't know
Yeah.
where the
Didn't
sauce
know.
was.
The sauce.
How many daggers has Herringbone lost? Not as many as she's trying to let everyone believe that.
Also,
wet blanket.
she went back later and
She
got
went and got
those
the daggers
Yeah.
back. She just likes to complain.
She's not gonna leave those there. Did Josco give as good as he could, or was he baiting Aswin into the forest? He definitely duked it out pretty good with Aswin. He had a plan, and like he didn't want to kill Aswin because that could have fucked up the bigger plan. But he gave him a good duel. That wasn't a fake, sort of a false duel, because Aswin was already headed there. It's not like he sort of
Right.
getting him to come there.
Right. Let's see. Graven, don't trust gods. Don't put your trust in gods. You said that in season
that
1.
very early on.
Very early was your goal.
I love that scene.
Was your goal to explore trusting gods in general, or just a god of light, like as a character? I think this is what this is asking.
Again, I think very early on, it was very much like, I'm a cleric now, but I'm not going to be soon, and fuck all the gods. And then, obviously, it became this thing that, like, I have to use the power in some way if I'm going to get to the end of my goals. Oh, here's this route of Demaset. Could I possibly step into that? Oh, no, here's the fighter and the druid and the barbarian path. So, like, yeah, I think I started off very, very against the gods. Anytime anybody else brought up gods, I was like, no, fuck that, fuck the gods. But eventually came to a point where I knew that it was like there's nuance to it. You can use the powers that you're given, and yeah, the plan was always to pull the rug on everyone.
If Graven was able to use magic again, would he?
Ooh.
Or is he like, no,
That's
I'm
a
done
good
with
question.
magic?
That is really hard. I don't know. Yeah. I'd like to say no, but if there's like a druid path or a warlock path or paladin, that was another one that I was thinking about too. I was like, if because paladin's very much like pledge yourself to an ideal.
Yeah, an oath.
And if the ideal or the oath is something like fuck the gods or help the reaper, then that would okay. So yes, the Graven would definitely dabble.
He wants that magic.
If it were possible, but it's not.
Does Graven regret not punching the other bodyguard who was about to shit himself?
Oh my God.
Yes. I lost the fight. Of course I regret it. Okay, that's okay. Going back to that question from earlier, that's my regret. I'm gonna make that guy shit himself. Why was I so so easy on him? I went so easy on him.
Thought he was gonna be a good buddy there.
You did.
Aw, good times.
Graven needs friends.
So true. Back in the Jin's dungeon and hideout, what would have happened if any of the members had stolen those chest pieces? Would there have been consequences?
There was all kinds of. I mean, there was stuff in that room that overtook the mat. Like, yes, maybe. I mean, it depends on whether they were able to get away with it. There was a lot of precarious items and opportunities. There was also the room of riches that Shalir wanted to go to. He was like, I'd like to put in a vote for the room of riches. So there was other ways to go. I mean, there was plenty of genie trinkets to try to take. I mean, certainly could have.
Was the idea that all those genies there playing the chess games, that those were all real pieces that like had souls in them?
Yes.
Yeah, what the hell?
Wow, there's some real dark shit in this campaign, Matt.
Yeah.
Next campaign's nothing but laughs. Nothing but laughs.
I don't believe it. So leading into that, can you give us any little teases? Seems like a good time to ask. Are there any little teases?
All right, there's a couple.
Who is this man? Who is this man?
Tease me.
Jesus.
It's nothing that you guys don't know. It's teases for them.
Well, that's less.
Well,
I don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
You don't know anything. Campaign 2 will be set in generally the same world, but we're going way, way into the future. We're going way into the future. And it's a sort of distant alternate reality from the one we've explored in A Peek Beneath the Veil. And in this reality, the meddling gods were successful. They basically there is no magic that isn't cleric magic. The only people who practice magic are clerics. And
whoa.
so slowly over time, like occasionally someone will crop up who maybe has the ability, some innate ability to practice magic, and they'll be wiped out by the clerics. Like they can tell right away that someone else is practicing magic.
Whoa.
Yikes.
That is the future that we are exploring in campaign 2. We're also going to be sort of some mechanical spoilers. we're going to be exploring some interesting kind of optional rules. We want to make this world feel a little sort of more threatening at every turn in some ways. We're using the optional rules for massive damage, which is in the Dungeon Master's Guide, which is basically if you take like half of your HP worth of damage in one hit, like if you take a hard blow, there's possible repercussions. You can get stunned, you can, get knocked out, you can get knocked down. So we're using
rough.
So it sounds like there needs to be backup characters.
Perhaps. So we're using those optional rules. There's some other smaller things that we're still mulling over. Also, possibly some optional rules for the DMG has little rules for like lasting injuries, like developing a limp if you break your leg or shit like that.
Does that affect like your stats?
It affects certain things, like the limp specifically. I think
Walking speed.
it affects your walking speed, and also if you use the dash action, you have to make like an acrobatics check, and if you fail, you fall prone, like at the end of your sprinting.
See, I was not. I made a threads. I posted a thread saying Matt just said that campaign 2 is going to be more brutal, and I was like, what? Wow. Yeah.
So some I think we'll add some fun kind of risky, precarious.
Don't like any
mechanics.
of the campaign 2 characters. Basically, is
Don't
what
get
he's
too
saying.
attached.
Don't get too attached to them.
Attached.
Wow.
Okay.
You may have answered 5e or D&D 1. We're definitely starting with 5e. I don't think D&D 1's sort of polished enough to dive into that yet. But something we're keeping tabs on for sure. And that's it.
Oh, that's
Wow, that was the little tease.
That was the tease.
I told you I'd get you something.
That's
all I got.
Quickly, next week we will be getting kind of a fun little side campaign. I mentioned this at the beginning, but just in case people weren't here, it's a little dungeon crawl, pretty low stakes, some fun, some combat, some shenanigans, some puzzles. So that'll bridge the gap to campaign 2, and more stuff will come out about that as we get closer.
people want to know the players.
Oh,
You have to wait and find out.
The players will be revealed soon. That will come very soon. Because, we're gonna have to, I guess.
You're gonna have to reveal who the players are eventually.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start writing some
At a
shit.
certain point, you're gonna have to do that.
All right.
That's it, I think. Any last minute campaign 1 thoughts?
I just want to say that thank you guys so much for having me on. Thank you for confirming all of my fan theories. No, in all seriousness, thank you guys for telling an amazing story over many years. I speak as audience proxy here. It's just been a delightful ride. So thanks for everything, gang.
Travis says best MC, even though you pronounced his name wrong, I think.
Thank you so much,
It's just
Travis. It's just Travis.
It's just Travis.
Safe to assume Jordan and Toots are playing yes.
I wrote back.
Oh, goody!
Yes. Only if you want to.
Oh, are you going back
Do I have to roll for it?
Roll for it.
Sure.
Roll to see if you're in campaign.
Natural 1. Oh,
18!
Okay, fine.
You're gonna make
campaign
it.
2.
Are you going back to 5 players? Yes.
Oh, that's
There, a little.
Drizzling it in there.
We are going back.
and I get to be one of them.
As of that roll, officially one of them.
What
All
about
right. Oh!
I'm not back.
She's getting kicked out of the campaign.
I'll sleep.
No.
All right, I guess it's gonna be 4.
Uh,
You can guess, Jordan.
what?
You can guess.
Thanks. When somebody dies, I'll come in.
Yeah.
Which
So we-
sounds likely.
Which sounds
It
likely.
does.
See you in
That'd be
chapter
sweet
2.
if we had someone in the wings. Like, the first person who dies, you take their spot. That would be kind of sick.
Ooh, that would be savage.
That's sick.
And you can wait for somebody else to die to come
Yeah.
back.
Just like one floating person
Yeah.
always.
Wow.
That's too brutal. That's too brutal. Can we talk about
All right, everybody. Thank you so
you
much for joining us.
being
We
on
always
this
have a blast.
ride.
Yeah, for being on this ride with us.
Ugh.
Many of you for so long, many of you so vigorously for even a short time.
Absolutely.
So all of you, thank you.
Yeah, we hope that we've had so many people kind of come along for the ride along the way, and we know that campaign 1, it's difficult to jump onto a moving train like that. Like, that was a long fucking campaign. we try to, with season 2, sort of provide a easy sort of jumping on point, but it's difficult. And we hope that if anyone's watching this later or watching it now, we hope that campaign 2 is like, some people see that as an opportunity to like get in it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Another, not really a spoiler, but our intention is for campaign 2 to not be that long. Like, our campaigns, hopefully going forward, might be 50 to 75 episodes, something like that. Just so we don't.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Just so we're able to kind of make sure that the people who are interested in our stories have easy ways to get into it.
Sure.
Oh yeah, so somebody was just asking about the dates. So for all of August, we're going to be doing that mini campaign. So it's 4 episodes, and then Labor Day weekend is September 3rd. We're just going to take a big break that weekend so that Matt and I can like change the studio over, do everything that we need to do technically, and then we're aiming to do campaign 2 September 10th.
Mark it down.
9,
Mark it
10.
down.
Mark it.
9, 10.
Mark it down.
So exciting.
Yeah, so that's the plan.
We hope to see you all next week for some goofs and some funs. And then, if not for that, we hope that you're there for campaign 2. And stay tuned for more, the slow drip of information about campaign 2.
That's such a trickle.
Come on, you even got a
We got a
bonus
little
one.
slop
Right?
tonight.
You got a little
Alright,
slip
alright.
on the
We
slop.
got a little bit.
I got a little mouthful.
But that's where we're gonna end for tonight. We love all of you. Thank you for sticking around us a little extra late stream, and like we said, we'll try and answer some questions in the Discord if there was a burning question that we didn't get to. Yeah, we got
good,
through.
good. There are some, and we'll get them.
Great. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Have an awesome week. Good night.
Good night.